Good Saturday morning. Welcome to the Voice of Ocala Saturday sports page, not the Voice of Ocala. See, I'm still stuck in Friday. Voice of Ocala. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. On a wonderful Saturday morning here at the palatial studios of WOCA Radio in the Paddock Mall in beautiful yet overcast Ocala, Florida. Buddy Martin in Columbia, South Carolina, getting ready for South Carolina, Missouri. I'm looking forward to Texas A&M Arkansas game. Of course, Georgia, Tennessee is today. Florida has the week off. Florida State travels to North Carolina State in a game that you Seminole fans better be aware of. The baseball playoffs are about set. I'm going to talk about those coming up on today's show. And the NFL, they're in the news again. And that's where we're going to start. The NFL on Friday said there is no evidence that Ray Rice elevator tape was ever sent to its offices or received by what they or that a call was made by a woman from League Lines confirming delivery of the tape. Never received. Cops making it up. A league official emailed reporters, including ESPN's Adam Schefter, who this story is from, in response to an Associated Press story Thursday night about a law enforcement official saying he mailed a tape of Rice's incident to Jeffrey Miller, the NFL's senior vice president of security. The NFL said our office has found absolutely no evidence to support the claim of the law enforcement source that he sent a video to the NFL offices and that he received a telephone call to his disposable cell phone from an unidentified female using an NFL line, the league said. Miller responded to the AP story on Thursday night in a statement saying, I unequivocally deny that I received at any time a copy of the video, and I have not watched it until it was made public on September 8th. The NFL has repeatedly said no one in the league saw the violent images until TMZ Sports released the video earlier this month. Former FBI Director Robert Mueller is leading an internal investigation at Commissioner Roger Goodell's request. The probe is ongoing and there's no timetable for its completion. So let's talk about some things here. One, let's talk about an anonymous law enforcement officer and a burner cell phone. What good would an officer have coming out now and saying to the Associated Press, in February I gave the video to the league? What would be gained by that? What notoriety would be gained by that? How would that help the police force or whoever he's, the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office? How would any of that help? It makes perfect sense to me that a guy who's an NFL fan and a law enforcement officer thought he'd be helping the NFL out by getting in front of this thing and shipping them a pirated copy of this video in February. So, hey guys, here's a heads up what's coming your way. I'm a big NFL guy. It's all about protecting the shield. Hey, here's a heads up. And then the NFL saw the horrific video. Now, this is just I surmise this. This is not fact. This is a scenario I think is possible. The NFL sees the video. It's horrific. But then, as has been reported recently, the Ravens have already started their back channel negotiations. Hey, we gotta go easy on this. She's not even wanting to press charges. His fiance, now wife, doesn't want to press charges. And they're working the back channels with Atlantic County and they're working the back channels with the NFL because they need Ray Rice on the field. Win at all cost. And if the wife's standing by him, hey, if she wants to stay in that kind of situation, we need him on the football field. So Roger Goodell calls Ray Rice and his fiance in. She tells the same story the Ravens are telling. Yeah, look, we were both drunk. yeah, he hit me, but I spit on him. I was hitting him. This isn't what it looks like. He's not a bad guy. This doesn't happen a lot. Blah, 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 blah. And the NFL says, okay, corral the wagons, protect the shield. 2 games. You got to get a suspension, Ray. We're going to give you 2 games, and we'll move on. Then somebody who had seen the video said, what? 2 games? I need to get this to TMZ because this is ridiculous. Then the video comes out, and now the NFL's got egg on its face and says, oh, no, somebody got the video. They knew what was on this video. In my opinion, the NFL saw this video and knew. And even if they didn't see the video, what did you need to see? He drug her out and dropped her like a sack of potatoes. But now the NFL said, oh, no, we never saw the video. This cop never got us the video. There was no woman that ever called him and said they received it. It is my belief that the NFL is lying. I could be wrong. But the old adage here, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's definitely some damn smoke here. I would not be surprised if it comes out that somewhere, and I don't know that they're ever going to be able to prove it, but I wish, that's my wish, is that sometime we would have hard evidence that the NFL had this video back in February, not September. And even if Goodell didn't see it, I believe in my heart of hearts that Miller, the head of security, saw it. And I believe it probably played out the way I just said. Some cop who's a great fan of the NFL said, oh, no, this is not good. I need to get this to somebody in the NFL and let them get their PR monster out ahead of this. That's a perfectly plausible thought process of how this all fits. But the league said, our office has found absolutely no evidence to support the claim of this anonymous law enforcement source that said he sent a video to the NFL office and he received a telephone call to his disposable cell phone. That sounds exactly how an anonymous, a lawyer a law enforcement officer who's trying to help the NFL out, that's exactly what I would think he would do. Send it anonymously, hey, you need to see this. I need to know you got it. Here's the cell phone number. Call me on this. Don't think cops don't know about burner cell phones, because they do. And if this cop was trying to get the video to the NFL anonymously, he just goes into a Dollar General or Dollar Store or something, buys a burner phone, gives that number to him to call. And if he's a smart law enforcement official, he doesn't have that burner phone anymore. Because here's the thing. If he pirated that video and gave it illegally to the NFL, he could lose his job, his pension, everything. I believe the NFL is lying about this matter. I think they have seen the video, they knew what was on the video, and that the Ravens, through back channels, worked the NFL, got a meeting with the NFL with Ray Rice and Janae Rice. And the story was explained that, look, I spit on him, I hit him, he hit me. It's not as bad as you would think it is. A friend of mine that I thought had moved to Tallahassee walking by the window right now. I think the NFL was complicit in the cover-up of this. I firmly believe that. And I'm not in the minority, folks. A majority of people believe the NFL is up to its eyeballs in this, in the cover-up. That they knew what was going on. They knew who was responsible. That they had seen the video. And that they said, well, Janae's okay with Ray. Everybody's okay. It was a horrific thing, but if she's still in there by her man, we got to suspend him, but we'll just do 2 games, and that way it won't hurt the Ravens too bad. Because that's what the Ravens have asked for. And then when the actual video leaked out, The Ravens and the NFL said, oh, dear God. The worst possible outcome has happened. How were we, the Shield, not able to keep a lid on this thing? Well, here's what's going to happen. Ray Rice is thrown out of the game. He's suspended indefinitely. He's cut. Everything's Ray Rice's fault. And anything that comes back, we'll just say Ray Rice's people are spinning it that way. We'll send Roger Goodell out in a blue suit looking presidential. He'll say, I'm sorry, 35, 40 times, and everybody will be okay with that because they always are. Anytime somebody comes out, looks presidential, and says, I'm sorry, I messed up, we give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, guess what, NFL commissioner? It didn't work this time. Your PR guys overestimated how the American public and the American press would respond to you apologizing for screwing up a domestic abuse case. And I understand why you say you like, well, this head thing, they didn't come out, this head thing wasn't a problem. You know, we kind of swept that under the rug. So we'll be able to sweep this under the rug too. Didn't work. And now, lo and behold, I'm watching Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, and they have a round table. And Frank DeFord, who's a very well-respected journalist, says that he has reports of NFL wives saying that their husbands who never were mean and domestic violence and all, that after 4 or 5 hard concussions in the NFL, their whole demeanor changed, their whole attitude changed, they become mean, evil people. And they believe that it's the head trauma causing that. So now the head trauma people are going to try to tie this or going to look for research to tie domestic abuse into concussions in the NFL. Then you're really going to have a problem. So if you didn't have problems enough now, Roger Goodell, now you're going to say, I believe you're lying. I never saw the video. Somebody in your office saw the video. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll get you set up for college. Get you set up for baseball. The playoffs are here. And we're going to try to reach Buddy Martin, see if we can get him to set us up the South Carolina-Missouri game. All that coming up. Plus, Franz Beard joined the show yesterday. We'll replay that interview right here on the Saturday Sports page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source.
Being the Culligan man is not easy because he works hard every day for you here in North Central Florida. Whether you need bottled water delivery for your office, a home water softener, or water infiltration system, the Culligan man can help you. At Culligan, North Florida, we have dozens of softener and filtration options, along with a host of media tank sizes. Depending on the exact hardness and usage of your water, we determine the size of softener you're going to need. And if you're on city or well water in one of our local areas, the in-home water analysis is absolutely free. If your needs are for the home, call Ocala Water Conditioning, 352-291-5900. For home or business bottled water in Ocala, call Ocala Bottled Water, 352-291-5900. Culligan of North Florida, a proud sponsor of Florida State football, heard right here on WOCA, The Source.
Regions Bank has big bank ability but possesses small bank agility. Utilizing tools like Raymond Andrews and his team of 6 mortgage experts with 100 years of experience in the mortgage industry and 50 years experience as members of the Regions Bank team. Mortgage lending is personal and important, and you deserve someone that will lead you through a positive process. Raymond and his team use local mortgaging processes like local appraisers and local closing to help you have a positive experience, and they habla Espanol as well. So whether you need a conventional, FHA, USDA, or VA loan, or you even need a construction loan, the mortgage team of your local Regions Bank has the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process. So contact Raymond Andrews and his team of mortgage experts at 352-854-4104. That's 352-854-4104. Regions Bank, it's time to expect more.
Hi, this is Randy Briggs of the Briggs Law Firm. My son Bo and I practice exclusively in the representation of accident victims. And we've been asked many times why we would support and sponsor the program Ask the Cops with Sheriff Blair and Chief Graham, who are in the world of criminal law enforcement. Well, these legal rights actually overlap. In civil law enforcement, we're in the business of recovering for victims of accidents that which has been taken away from them and holding the responsible party accountable. Both civil law and criminal law share those common goals. So we're all in the field of law enforcement, and for that reason, we're proud to sponsor Ask the Cops on the Voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin. So if your family or a friend needs help in an accident situation, feel free to contact us at our website, www.The Briggs Law Firm. We're located in the Ocala Historic District.
Welcome back to Saturday Sports Page. Buddy Martin going to join us in about 15 minutes. So we're going to move the Franz Beard interview up earlier. I talked with Franz Beard yesterday about the woes that is University of Florida football. And here's what Franz Beard had. I talked to him, and Franz and I had a pretty good conversation about Florida football, what he thinks the shortcomings of Florida football is, and whether he thinks the Will Muschamp's to blame or the players are to blame. And I was quite taken by what Franz had to say. Here's what Franz Beard, FightingGators.com, had to say yesterday. Let's go out to the phone lines now and talk to Franz Beard of FightingGators.com. Franz, you got a article right now up on FightGatorsTouchdown.com, FightGators.com. Why don't you tell me what that article covers?
Well, that's my thoughts of the day, and the first element of it says that, I've been asked a lot this week, well, how much pressure is Will Muschamp under? And I tell people, he's under no more pressure now than he was the day he was hired. This is Florida. Win or lose, he's going to have the same pressure there. The question is not going to be how much pressure is on. The question is going to be how's he going to handle it. And how he handles it is going to have a direct correlation to how the kids handle it. There's an off week this week, and next week they could go to Tennessee. If we see a focused team that plays hard, that has corrected some mistakes, then we can say that the pressure is not getting too much yet, that everybody is seeing it, and that he's handling it well. If we see a team that is maybe too erratic, making the same old mistakes all over again, then we got to look at that and say, the pressure's starting to get to him. But it's no more pressure now than there was the day he was hired, Tom. I mean, this is Florida. The expectations are ridiculous. I don't know if you saw the Urban Meyer interview this week when on HBO.
Boy, did I see! Did I saw every minute of it that they did with Urban Meyer, Shelley Meyer with the tears and everything. Yeah, I saw it all.
Well, as you can tell from that, the stress of this job, it takes somebody who's really, really got the right attitude and the right way to deal with it. Spurrier was the perfect guy here. Spurrier just doesn't let the pressure get to him, never has. And, he just sees the same old.
Well, time to go play golf now, friends. Season's over.
Exactly. Well, we didn't play so good. Guess we're going to have to coach a lot better next week.
Exactly. You made a real good point. I'm reading your article here. It says, in reality, Muschamp's not the one who had to be worried about. He's making millions. It's the kids on the team who are a different story. Last week, you made the point DeMarcus Robinson retweeted a negative thought about Jeff Driscoll, and all of a sudden, we knew that the kids understood that they didn't like losing by 21.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing about it. You've got to be watching how are the kids reacting. If the kids are having all sorts of problems, then it's getting to the coach too. But the pressure is no different, win or lose. And the thing about it is that, as Jeremy Foley said today on an interview with Mike Bianchi, there's not going to be a decision made till the end of the year. Now, if they go up to Tennessee and they have a rough game or possibly lose that ball game up there, there's still 7 ball games to go. You know, what would happen, for example, if they went 6-1 the rest of the way? You know, they're 2-2 now. They lose next week. And they go 6 and they go 6. You know, all of a sudden you're 8-3. Okay, that's a different story than 8-3 and they finish strong. To win 8 ball games would mean they'd have to beat either Florida State or Georgia the rest of the way. So there's a lot of things to look at there. He's not going anywhere right now, and so people who have got this notion that Jeremy Foley's going to fire him the way he did Ron Zook, they got the wrong impression.
Well, how important though is you've had 2 SEC games now, one against a Kentucky team that's a much better Kentucky team than the Kentucky teams we're used to, against the Alabama team that finally put a whole football game together, and now with the week off, how important is 2 SEC games and a week to prepare is Florida coming out and beating Tennessee and beating them soundly?
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. Florida has got to come out, and they've got to play a focused game in which they look like the best coached team on the field. And we have not seen, with the exception of that game 1, and of course, we could go to a homeless shelter in a convent and find good enough players to give, Eastern Michigan a tough game. But, we have not seen the Gators in a game that mattered put together a full game. And we've got to see, and it's time. You can't go into October and not be able to put a full game together. And so this is going to be the real measuring stick for where they are and what they've got to do the rest of the way.
I've heard people all week say, this Gator defense got embarrassed. If it wasn't for the turnovers, this could have been much worse. And me being an old defensive guy, I'm like, how can you say it would be much worse? Turnovers are part of what a defense does. I thought the defense up until the fourth quarter played pretty well. Everybody says, well, what about the big plays to Cooper and the big plays on the outside to the running back, the first play from scrimmage? As much as I hate to say this, I think Lane Kiffin out-schemed the University of Florida coaching staff. I don't think it was so much bad defense as it was the scheme just confused Florida. Am I wrong?
Well, Florida was definitely out of its league, no question about it. And the question is that just that Alabama's got such superior personnel and such a brilliant mind as their offensive coordinator that they can come up and line up and confuse you? We already know that, if you go 11 against 11, there may only be one other team in the country that can put 11 guys up that are equal or superior to Alabama's. So, that Alabama's going to have against Florida, Alabama did. They had the superior players by and large. So, you have to look at what goes on with plays like that, and you got to think, well, they also had a superior scheme and a superior play to anything Florida threw up defensively. That's a concern. That's got to be a huge concern going forward because Lane Kiffin is a really good offensive coordinator. There's no question about that. He's shown that everywhere he's been, that he knows how to run an offense. But that much better, that raises questions.
How important is this game this weekend, Georgia, Tennessee, for Florida to be able to watch to see what both teams are going to do for future endeavors for the University of Florida?
Well, the big one to watch is Tennessee, simply because that's the next one, And Tennessee plays really good defense, Tom. I mean, let me put it this way. If Justin Worley doesn't literally give the game away in Norman, they may have gone to overtime that game because they had a defensive scheme that really caused Oklahoma problems. And if Worley doesn't literally give Oklahoma 17 points, the final score of that game was 31-14. Well, Worley gave them 17 points. You're talking about a 14-14 ball game. So, if Tennessee goes out there and Georgia struggles offensively, that's going to be the big thing they got to look at because with all those freshmen on the offensive line and all those newbies on the Tennessee offensive line, we have no idea which Tennessee offense is going to show up. We have no idea which Justin Worley is going to show up. So the big thing to do is watch the defense. And if their defense keeps them in the ball game, an entire ball game, Florida, it better pay very, very strict attention to that because that's a big warning. That's a great big red flag.
Well, Franz, you talked about the only other team in the country that you think could line up 11-11 with Alabama. They're playing in what I consider as a trap game this weekend. The last 3 times that they've went to North Carolina State undefeated, ranked. The last time 3 times they went into North Carolina State as a ranked team, they've come out hanging their heads with a loss. This is a mental block for Florida State. They don't play well at North Carolina State. I've said that I could see this being an upset special this weekend. Can you see a trip up here by Florida State?
I can see that Florida State would have some problems up there. You got to remember something. Those North Carolina State fans, they are really, really into it. And that's a stadium. I don't know if you've ever been to Carter Finley Stadium, but it is, they have it like down in almost like a sinkhole. And the lower bowl games, the lower stadium, it's like at Paulson Stadium where you have a berm that goes all the way around and you've got the lower stands are all just embedded into that berm. Well, that's the way it is there, only it's bigger and deeper than
just like Appalachian State, the exact same way Appalachian State is.
And so it really holds the noise in. It seats about 58,000, but those 58,000 can sound like 158,000 because that noise is just really captured right in there. And so it's going to be a rowdy atmosphere. And Florida State has not played a great ball game yet. That ball game they played last week, if Clemson doesn't do a Clemson on them, they lose that ball game by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yes, yeah. So we got about 30 seconds left, friends. I just want to point out that in the first year of Florida Bowl series, football bowl series, that if it's not for a call that the NCAA called and apologized to Georgia Southern for making in the Georgia Tech game and a 1-point loss to North Carolina State, my guys would be 4-0 right now in Florida in football bowl series. I'm just pointing that out after they crushed Appalachian State last night.
And what I'll tell you too, Tom, is this: enjoy Willie Fritz while you can.
He's not going to be there long.
Not going to be. He NFL, not for long.
Yeah, he will not be. Willie Fritz, you want to name an up-and-coming name. People always say, well, if Will Muschamp goes away, who are you going to get? There's some names out there, and Willie Fritz's name, while it won't be the University of Florida, there's some schools looking at Willie Fritz. He's not going to be a Georgia Southern long, but I'll give you one name as we go away, friends. If Will Muschamp is dismissed at the end of this year, there's a guy at Duke that's a pretty good football coach, and the last time we got a football coach from Duke as a head coach, I think it worked out pretty good for the program.
Yes, it did. There's only one reason why I don't think that would happen, and that is David Cutcliffe is 65 years old.
I know. Cutcliffe
I don't think that would happen. I think they'll look for a coach that's maybe in his mid-40s to mid-50s, and a guy that they know is going to be there 15 or 20 years. But you got it right. You got it right about one thing. The man sure does know how to coach, and give him a situation like Florida where he's got real athletes who can really play, and it'd be scary what he could do.
Last time we gave a coach from Duke real athletes that really could play, all he did was went out and win the first SEC championship in school history and the first national championship in school history.
Yeah, he's pretty good, and you know what? He's still a pretty good football coach.
He's a pretty good football coach. Franz Beard, FightingGators.com. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a bunch.
That was Franz Beard joining us yesterday on the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page. We're going to take a break. Coming up next, Buddy Martin joins us live from Columbia, South Carolina, right here on the Saturday Sports page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of the Properties Salon in downtown Ocala. Here in Florida, we're all about summertime fun, but along with the warm weather comes humidity, which leads to the dreaded frizzies. Are you tired of checking the weather report every morning before deciding to flat iron your hair? Sick of looking like the Lion King every day by noon? Has God just not seen fit to answer your prayers for patience and silky, frizz-free hair? Well, your troubles are over. Come to the Properties Salon for one of our hair smoothing systems, specializing in Peter Coppola and Cezanne keratin smoothing treatments, the Proper Teeth Salon can tame your unruly locks with these formaldehyde-free formulas. And with the discount code BuddyRocks, you will save 20%. Not fighting the frizzies? Mention the same code BuddyRocks to save 20% off one of our many services such as cuts, color, extensions, and manis and petties. Gentlemen, this special is not just for the ladies. We do great cuts and color for men too. Check us out at thepropertees.com for more information.
Hey, Eddie, I'm playing Augusta in a few hours, and I need a fourth. Want to join us?
Georgia's close, but it's not that close, Alex.
Not Georgia, Golden Ocala. I'm a member at Golden Ocala, and this course has 8 tribute holes, like number 12 and 13. You know, part of Amen Corner, and the postage stamp, and the road hole. It's a phenomenal track. My family and I always have a great time at the pool and at the restaurants. They've got 3, you know. The kids love the tennis programs. My wife practically lives at the spa, and I've been bulking up with a personal trainer in their fitness center. Joining Golden Ocala was one of the best decisions I've ever made, aside from marrying my wife, of course. So you want to join us in a few hours?
Absolutely. I can't wait to play the first hole in golf and the road hole too. Hey, how do I become a member at Golden Ocala?
Eddie, just call 352-402-4343.
Luxury and great golf is affordable at Golden Ocala. Call 352-402-4343 to join.
When you were a kid, you had all sorts of toys. Toy cars, boats, trucks, entire toy boxes full of fun. Of course, you never really outgrow your toys, do you? It's just that now, instead of a box full, you have a garage full. Cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, and more. As you get older, your love of toys just gets stronger. So protect those toys the best way possible by switching to Allstate. An Allstate agent can help do the switching, paperwork, bundle all your policies together, and even find you a bunch of discounts. So if you love your toys, make sure you protect your toys by making one call to an Allstate agent.
Protect all your toys with Allstate and the McDonald Agency. Established in 1985, we have offices in Ocala and the Villages to better serve you. Give us a call at 622-2333. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Are you in good hands?
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Page. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. Let's go right out to the phone lines and join Buddy Martin live from Columbia, South Carolina. Buddy, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Tom. I'm fine. And yourself?
You know, I've been better, but that don't kill you can only make you stronger. And you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to go into it.
You must be one strong dude, is all I got to say.
I have been known to be strong. Well, buddy, let's talk first about the situation that you went to for Nashville. How was that with the passing of Rob Baronis?
Well, it was very sad. Obviously, you know, was with the family for a couple of days and spent most of my time with Terry and his wife Tammy, and then we went to the funeral proceedings, and it was a very well done funeral, I guess if you could say it that way. And my heart went out to his father, who spoke brilliantly, and I might add, and of course, in the very most difficult times, how could you speak at your son's funeral? It's hard, beyond hard. And he made a great statement, which I think was picked up by the local media, where he said of his son, he says, "Rob, we know that your life will not be defined by your last 30 minutes."
Yes.
So, you know what I'm talking about. And something happened that last 30 minutes that no one seems to be able to talk about. And it was involved in cases of road rage or something allegedly from, and him driving home. And I went by the crash site. And I can tell you that it's almost, you wonder how he could have done that unless he was simply, he had his eye off the steering wheel or the speedometer or whatever. Because he didn't, there were no skid marks. He went right into the trees, like up in the trees, and a culvert down below, and at a very high rate of speed, which speaks to the erratic behavior that people have talked about. Anyway, that is what it is. The ceremony was very well done. People spoke, I thought very heartfelt conversations, and also about celebrating his life. He was celebrating. So Carson went to the house afterwards, and Rachel was obviously very upset, and there was a few of us over there at the house. And that was one thing I noticed. She had his ring around her neck on a chain, and everybody sat around the kitchen, which is what you do after a funeral. Put on your jeans, sit around, and talk. About an hour and a half there, and then Terry and I and his wife Tammy went back to our hotel room. But anyway, so it's very odd in some ways, very loving in other ways, certainly tragic and confounding as to what really went on in the last 30 minutes of Rob Ronan's life. But like Terry said, and like others have said, no matter what, he's still dead.
And I think you hit on it, what his dad said, that whatever happened that last 30 minutes, that's not what his life's going to be remembered for.
Yeah. Because there's too much evidence all around the community when you hear a lot of people talk about him, what he did with children and how much he was loved and how thoughtful he was. One neat thing was he was a bigot wearing sneakers, his Chuck Taylors or his Nikes or whatever. He would wear at a formal. He'd wear his tux jacket and his black tie, jeans, and Chuck Taylors. So all of his friends came in Nikes or Chuck Taylors and jeans. And one thing his best friend did was went to his closet, got out about 25 ties or Rob's, handed them out to his best friends. And they all wore them, and they asked him to stand up. Rob had a 6-year-old boy by a previous relationship. And he said, "Now, all you people with that tie on, you're identified now. And when you take that tie to your closet, you look at it, and you call London, this young man, and tell him you're thinking of him and that you're praying for him and you're there to help mentor him." I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so very good, very tragic situation, but all in all, a great guy from every estimation I've seen from the people I talked with that knew him when he kicked for the 1 year at Georgia Southern.
Yeah, that's right. You talked to your friends down at Statesboro. And
I knew people that played with him, Adrian Peterson, Mike Anderson. I knew people that played with Charles, but I knew people that played with him and said he was an outstanding guy the year he was at Georgia Southern. So I talked to Terry Harvin, the voice of Georgia Southern. He said that Terry Harvin was a punter, so him and Baronis knew each other real well while Baronis was in Statesboro. Said he was an upstanding guy, would always go to the children's hospitals and everything. So never had a bad word to say. So let's not remember him for whatever allegedly happened the last 30 minutes of his life.
Exactly.
Now, buddy, you're in Columbia, South Carolina. Pretty big football game.
I'm on my way.
Oh, you're on your way.
On my way. I'm in Atlanta this morning, waiting on the bag to be delivered. And when I do get there, I will head over that way. I just talked to somebody on Spurrier staff just now. And we're headed over there to the game tonight. Pretty good football game, by the way.
Missouri, South Carolina. I think so.
Yeah, and game day is there. Or I should say here. And this is their 7th time game day's been there. 6 of those 7 times was, I think, when Steve Spurrier was there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be I look for South Carolina to have a really good game tonight. I think they're just getting their legs. Their offense has been very good. Their defense has been, at best, spotty and inconsistent. But I think Lorenzo Ward knows his mission. His young secondary, he's very athletic in the secondary, very athletic. But they're young players. Someone like Florida, and they've got to put some pressure on Matty Mouth. They can't let him stand back there and just rip it. And they got to play the kids already got to play special teams a whole lot better than they played against Vanderbilt. But having said that, Tom, if they win, and I think that they will, if you look at their schedule, this is a huge step toward Atlanta. Because in the end, they only got 2 real significant games in their way. And I'm not counting Auburn because I count it as a loss. I don't see that happening. But I think in the East, if they can get past Florida in that last game, and they got Tennessee, which I think they'll beat. Florida, Tennessee, and they're going to Atlanta. So that's how big this game is.
Wow, that is a big game. Okay, let's talk about Arkansas, Texas A&M coming up this weekend. You've said on Southern Pigskin tonight you think Texas A&M handles Arkansas pretty easy.
I don't know if easy is the right word, because when they get that running game going, and if they don't complete their passes, and Kenny Hill can't have the same kind of accuracy he's been having, and they go to 3 and outs, it could be a different kind of game. Because we know this league changes, as we said, not just week to week, but almost day to day. Arkansas's got some studs, as you know, in their offensive line, running back. But in my opinion, I think their defense is suspect, and I think that there's no reason why A&M can't roll up about 45 on them, my opinion, unless they keep the ball away from them. And how they get the ball? By playing defense, getting the ball back, and turnovers by South Carolina, by Texas A&M. Turnovers. Other than that, I think they roll 45-21.
Now, do you believe that the Georgia offense is going to be too much for what people are saying is one of the best defenses Tennessee's had in a long time?
I can't see that defense stopping these guys. I mean, I just can't. I mean, I think that, name a number, in terms of how many yards rushing and Gurley and whatever. I name a number. I can't see it happening. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I've seen it play a couple times. So, I think this is a game that could get out of hand. I don't know. Their quarterback Worley is not. He's inconsistent. I just think A&M, although they're not very good defensively, the receivers, Tom, are so massive. If you look at their lineup, they got guys 6'5", 270 catching the ball. They got big receivers, and they don't man. And I don't think Georgia's cornerbacks. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. How much time to think of?
Georgia, Tennessee.
Texas A&M. No, I'm talking about Texas A&M. Texas A&M. Anyway, I know about Texas A&M. Texas A&M's cornerbacks. I mean, Texas A&M has taller receivers than
Arkansas has quarterbacks.
Arkansas does cornerbacks. I'll get my games right here.
Yeah. All right, now one more thing before I let you go. Cincinnati, a 17-point dog to Ohio State. Yeah. Should this be an upset alert watch?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if it's upset alert, but I'd take me some of that 17 if I was a gambling man. I really do.
And
Ohio State not playing well at all, and Cincinnati playing much better, obviously.
And I don't know if you, because your week's been so busy, if you had a chance to watch Bryant Gumbel's Real Sports, but if you didn't, you need to watch it. After watching,
I know about it.
After watching it, I may be starting to lean towards Buddy Martin's camp of Urban Meyer instead of away from it. After watching the story with Andrea Young and how the contract with his daughter, and they had the contract right there, handwritten out and everything.
Yeah,
it was quite what telling 20-minute story on the health of Urban Meyer and how Urban and he came across as believable. And so, if you believe him, he thought he was dying at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Well, I think I've said that and written that a few times, but no one ever believed me. So, I guess people will believe what they want to believe. And I wouldn't cover it up if I thought it wasn't true. And I wrote that, I said that, and that, you can say what you want to about him, and you don't like his personality, you can talk about whatever you didn't like about him. I get that. His mistake was he tried to come back. He literally thought he was dying. I told you that on this show 10 times at least.
You have.
And I'm not defending him, for example, on what he may or may not have done. He really, and so he made that contract with his family. I knew all about that. He told me about it. If you go back to and I've written this too, I keep saying that, but what happened today that he went out after practice one day, getting ready for the bowl game, he and Mickey Marotti started walking around the swamp, looking up at all the signs, national champions and this and that, and Mickey's saying, well, this has been a great run, been a great run. Yeah, it really has, and said, look at what we did here, and look at this, and look at him, and all these other things, and he's reminiscing, and suddenly Urban stops and thinks, if I leave here, these guys on the staff will lose their jobs and their families will whatever. And Jeremy Foley had said to him, take a sabbatical, take a month or so off, whatever you need, and come back and then do it. He thought, well, if that option's still open, maybe I'll call Jeremy. He called Jeremy at that moment and said, is that deal still open? He said, yes. He said, okay, I'm going to try to get healed up. He gave Steve Adazio the reins right then. And Tom, it's like they say about a 100-foot yacht in Bahamas. Once you let someone stay on your yacht for 6 months, it's not your yacht anymore.
Right.
And it became Steve Adazio's team. So when Urban tried to come back, he couldn't get the reins back, and things just never worked. So that's that story. So as history will show someday, I'm glad at least people are beginning to get a little bit of a, because you know what happens? Fans get so fanatical and angry and whatever, they want to think there was some kind of plot. How many times have I said to you, no, there was never any plan, never any plot to go to Ohio State. It just happened. So, it is what it is. But anyway, I'm glad you got
the kids weren't happy about him going to Ohio State, by the way, according to this story on Real Sports.
No. As a matter of fact, there were rumors for a long time, a year before that, before he ever started at Ohio State, and had no intentions of going. There were things about that. There were rumors about it. I got a bunch of calls from Buttnuts website saying, what's the deal here? What's the deal here? This is way before and a year before when that wasn't in play. Urban bought a house. No, Urban bought a house. We got evidence. So I called Shelley. And Shelley, what's the deal? She said, hey, if Urban bought a house, it better be one bedroom because I ain't coming. That's what she said. And so it all changed, and the situations change. We know that day by day.
Well,
so
and they showed him on this story that he's able to step away from football now and go enjoy his girls playing volleyball and watching his son play football. He gets away from the actual day-to-day operations of football, kind of like the best guy ever in the history of college football, in my estimation, to do it.
Spurrier.
He could just turn it off at the end of the season. Well, buddy, time to go play golf. We'll see you in about 4 months.
I love that clip in that film. I'm sure you saw The Believer on the ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
And when Bob Stoops, who was defensive coordinator, he said, on our open day, we're over at the beach out there floating around, and says, Coach Spurrier said to me, wonder what those Tennessee coaches are doing today. Exactly. And that's your Spurrier right there. So that's what you got to love.
Well, enjoy your game up in Columbia with Coach Spurrier, buddy, and hurry home.
I want to thank you publicly for a tremendous job that you've done this week, Tom, and holding things together during these things were unforeseen, and you stepped in and just did a tremendous job of keeping things rolling. And I don't know, is my seat still there? I might have been Wally Pips.
No, your seat's still here. Trust me. You can have the seat back. I promise.
Okay, so I should come to work on Monday then.
Come to work on Monday.
Okay, Tom. I'll see you then. Thank
Buddy
you.
Martin, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll wrap up this edition of the Saturday Sports Page right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're live and local on The Source. Eye Care Center of Ocala is centered on patient satisfaction. Our friendly doctors and staff are here to serve all of your family's eye care needs under one roof. Our optometric physicians take great pride in offering every patient the absolute best in vision care, utilizing state-of-the-art technology. We're located about 2 miles west of I-75 on State Road 200. You can schedule an appointment for the Eye Care Center by going to www.eyecarecenterofocala.com, or you can call us at 352-512-0560.
If you've been hearing about the crowd at Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill and were worried because you couldn't get in, I've got some good news for you. Seating is now available. While you're there, look up Chef Dave Del Rio. He'll buy you a drink. Now is the time for you to finally see firsthand what your friends are talking about at Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill. Try Chef Dave's tantalizing Louisiana menu. Check out those gorgeous Lake Weir sunsets. Eaton's Beach Sandbar and Grill on beautiful Lake Weir. Seating now available.
Commercial bank approval. Vehicle purchase process fixed straight alone.
Fumble! I was so busy making my fantasy football picks that I forgot to stock up on inventory, and now I need cars fast.
so I'm calling for an inventory blitz. Chris Spears here from Prestige Auto Sales. This month, bring me in your old car and you could score the nicer, newer ride you've been fantasizing about for just $10 down.
Sack your old car.
And start driving the nicer, newer car of your dreams for just $10 down. Don't get fouled by past credit problems.
Our For the People credit approval process is the game changer you've been waiting for.
We huddle up the banks and lenders to help you get approved and back in the game. So stop driving a car you hate.
Punt it and drive a nicer, newer car for just $10 down today.
I'm throwing in a Hail Mary to make my month, and I need your help. Trade in your old car, and you could drive for just $10 down. But don't wait till the clock runs out. This deal is over when my inventory is full. I'm Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit us at Prestige Auto Sales or call 694-1234. Yes, 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Hi, this is Randy Briggs of the Briggs Law Firm. Traditional help for truly injured. We trademark registered this belief years ago as our description of our practice at the Briggs Law Firm. By traditional help, we mean that clients actually meet with a partner in the firm who will personally handle their case, not a paralegal. Well, what about truly injured? We limit our practice to injury claims having merit with clients who indeed have been injured. So if you or a loved one have been truly injured, compare our credentials at thebriggslawfirm.com or call us at 671-4600.
This is Allstate Agent Kevin McDonald, and our agency is a proud sponsor of the Marion County Friday Night High School Football Game of the Week. I grew up in Ocala, and I'm proud to support high school athletics throughout Marion County. For all your insurance and employee benefit needs, contact the McDonald Agency at 622-2333. Our agency has been a proud member of the Ocala-Marion County community since 1985, with offices in Ocala and the Villages.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Page. I'm Tom Schmitz, wrapping up this edition of the Saturday Sports Page with your rundown of Major League Baseball, the playoffs. This is the end of the last weekend of the season. Tell you who's in, who's out. Detroit and Kansas City both in the playoffs. Detroit's magic number to clinch the Central, 2. Kansas City 1 game back, so that one's still up for grabs. Who's going to win the division? Detroit or Kansas City? One of them's going to win the division. The other one's going to be a wild card. The Los Angeles Angels at Anaheim, they have clinched the division in the West. Washington Nationals, let me give you the American League East, sorry. The Baltimore Orioles have clinched the American League East. In the National League, the Washington Nationals have clinched the National League East as the Atlanta Braves just fell off the face of the earth, finishing their 77-83, tied with the Mets and the Marlins, 17 games back. St. Louis and Pittsburgh both clinched playoff berths in the Central, but it's still to be decided. St. Louis is magic number 2 as Pittsburgh is 1 game back, so still the division winner still to be decided there. And the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants both have made the playoffs, and the Giants are the wild card team, and the Dodgers won the division. I'm looking for the other wild card team in the – is it going to be Oakland at 87-73? Yeah, Oakland will be your other wild card team in the American League. Coming out of the West, Los Angeles wins the division. Oakland will be the wild card team out of the West. Actually, Seattle could be the wild card team, so Seattle could still catch them. So that one still's not decided yet, Oakland or Seattle. But it looks like Oakland's got the inside track. They're 2 games up with 3 games to play. So their magic number for clinching is 1 in the American League. So that's your American League and National League standings, getting ready for the playoffs. That's when people start watching baseball, really, is the playoffs. I'm going to talk about Hope Solo one more time. Are you kidding me? The U.S. Olympic Committee says, the U.S. women's team says, we're good with Hope Solo playing on our team. We've looked at the domestic abuse case against her, and we're just going to let it play out in court. So Hope Solo, who beat her cousin up, beat her nephew to where he bled out of his ear, beat her own sister up, facing 2 charges of domestic abuse. Nike and U.S. Women's Soccer are okay with her, while Nike doesn't like Adrian Peterson. A double standard? Are you kidding me? Yes, there's a double standard, and it's ridiculous. Hope Solo should be facing the same thing Ray Rice is facing, the same thing Adrian Peterson is facing. She should not be playing for the U.S. women's team. She should not be playing for a pro team. Nike should drop her like a hot potato. Are you kidding me? There's a double standard for you right there, and it's not a very good one. It's domestic abuse, just like if it was a man. I'd like to thank my guest, Buddy Martin, and for all the staff here at WOCA, I'm Tom Schmidt saying have a great weekend, everybody. Regions Bank has big bank ability but possesses small bank agility. Utilizing tools like Raymond Andrews and his team of 6 mortgage experts with 100 years of experience in the mortgage industry and 50 years experience as members of the Regions Bank team. Mortgage lending is personal and important, and you deserve someone that will lead you through a positive process. Raymond and his team use local mortgaging processes like local appraisers and local closing to help you have a positive experience, and they habla Espanol as well. So whether you need a conventional, FHA, USDA, or VA loan, or you even need a construction loan, the mortgage team of your local Regions Bank has the knowledge and experience to guide you through the process. So contact Raymond Andrews and his team of mortgage experts at 352-854-4104. That's 352-854-4104. Regions Bank. It's time to expect more.
Imagine yourself in a quaint bistro right in the heart of a charming French village about to indulge in real French cuisine. Located in beautiful, vibrant downtown Ocala, La Cuisine offers authentic French cuisine and wine from an award-winning menu. Patrice and Elodie moved to Ocala in 2009 because they fell in love with it. And you're going to fall in love with La Cuisine if you haven't already. La Cuisine offers a quick bite for lunch or a leisurely dinner in a comfortable and relaxed setting. So call La Cuisine of Ocala today at 352-433-2570. It's like a direct call to Paris. Right on the southwestern corner of the square sits one of the finest dining establishments in Florida, Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood Restaurant. Mark's offers big city dining amenities in a charming and small town setting. It's a rare treat to experience both the ambiance and the exquisite cuisine in a friendly atmosphere. Ocala's finest restaurant serves the finest beef, the freshest seafood, premium wines, and naturally fresh vegetables. From valet parking to splendid service, Mark's offers the complete package. Check it out today. Mark's Prime Seafood and Steakhouse Restaurant.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Air travel slowly starting to ramp back up after alleged sabotage shut down Chicago's major airports Friday.
Flights are currently arriving and departing in the Chicago area at a reduced rate.
Elizabeth Isham-Corey with the FAA.
Police say a fire that was intentionally set at a Chicago air traffic control facility is responsible for the shutdown. The control center in Aurora was evacuated, and emergency crews found a man in the basement with a self-inflicted wound and took him to the hospital.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. That suspect is a contract employee. And another breakout at a youth detention center in Nashville last night. Authorities say 13 teens escaped after overpowering a guard. Most were recaptured within hours. This is the same facility that suffered breaches earlier in the month. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
Table for one? Right. There's like a 12 of you, miss? Oh, that's just my back office. They're always with me. Okay.
With Sage, you're securely connected to your back office no matter where you are, so you can make the sale, send the invoice, and see how it all adds up from anywhere.
They're not going to get out of hand, are they?
Now the power to make confident business decisions follows you everywhere. Use Sage to make your back office as mobile as you are at workfromsage.com. That's workfromsage.com.
It's coming live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. You're just tuning in. It's been a good portion of the early show. Celebrating baseball, man, and celebrating in particular the Royals. Kansas City, playoff bound. First time since 1985. 1985. It's unbelievable. And so we gave a little homage to the Royals fans today. We had a guy call up earlier, and he was amazing. He said, look, I got married Game 6 of the Royals-Cardinals World Series. And he said, my father-in-law had tickets for Game 7. And he said, son, take my daughter. I thought that was dynamite. And it really tells you about being a fan of a team. And you suffer. Yeah, not everybody's the Heat, Yankees, not everybody Patriots. You know, these teams, and you forget about teams like the Royals if you're in National League City or you're out west. And you look what a great baseball town Kansas City is. Great sports town, period. Kansas City's an amazing sports town. And particularly to then go in and get there and finally get the play. That's awesome. That's a great story. We had another guy, 27 years old. And, of course, he's 27. He never saw a playoff game. Never saw his team in the playoffs. Think about that. How incredible is that? Never saw him. This is it. He's the 27-year-old playoff virgin. Incredible. So, we're celebrating Kansas City. And in the same vein, we were celebrating Jeter a little bit earlier. And together, when we tie them up, you know what that's about? That's about I'm tired of the muck. I'm tired of crawling through the sewer with Jameis Winston and Adrian Peterson. And I'm tired of it. Hardy, McDonald, Rice. And I just want to hang with the Royals and Jeter and the Pirates. Right? I mean, it's kind of, sooner or later, it's enough already. And so I think these stories are good for us. Look at LeBron yesterday, talking about Cleveland and the whole build. Trying to get that finally, get that title. I mean, this is stuff that I look at. I was saying this earlier, but when we talk about Jeter, it was so perfect. In some circles, people thought it was too perfect, that it was actually scripted. Well, you know that's ridiculous. But even beyond that, how incredible was that story? And I'm thinking about scripted. It didn't even cross my mind that it was quote-unquote fixed. I know I'm naive and I could look at sports through the prism of a 12-year-old. I get it. But that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point. So we have Big College Day today. And we were talking about UCLA and Hunley and how good they looked on Thursday night. So as you go through the games for this afternoon and the big ones. Now, next week, you're going to get even better matchups. But as you go through it a little bit and see some of the matchups, the best games were actually Thursday night. with UCLA and Arizona State. So I'm really looking forward to Georgia, Tennessee. A little bit later on, we were talking about Jameis Winston, Florida State, NC State, Arkansas, A&M. Now, I think Arkansas can give Aggies a game. I like Arkansas. I think it's a great matchup. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I like Arkansas. Maybe Arkansas to pull the upset. I think they have a shot at it. Obviously, tough place to play, College Station, but I think Arkansas has a real shot. Auburn with a K, with a cookie, La Tech. Stanford, tough game. Stanford still licking its wounds after USC. Now has to go play Lincoln Kennedy's Huskies in Washington. So that's a tough game for them. Ohio State, Cincinnati. Now, Ohio State can score it. They can run it up on you, that's for sure. Here's a real good one. South Carolina, Missouri. That's my college play today. I love South Carolina in this game. Minus the points. I think they roll. Mississippi, number 10 and dangerous. They get an easy one in Memphis. LSU, easy one in Mexico State. Tonight, Irish against Syracuse. Now, I can't imagine. I think the game's closer than what people think. Notre Dame's a big favorite. And I think Syracuse could keep it close, maybe keep it within a score. But in the end, I don't see Notre Dame losing. Notre Dame's defense is really good. And I don't think Syracuse could just score with them. I think somehow it's one of those Saturday night close games where the team just comes out. You see it all the time, the underdog team. We saw it with Boston College and USC. And it's kind of has that feel to it. But I just don't think Syracuse is enough to beat Notre Dame. Baylor on the road in Ames, Iowa State. Illinois goes to number 21, Nebraska. That should be a rout with Nebraska. And then the last game of this evening is USC, Oregon State. Oregon State finally back on the field. They come out 2 weeks ago, beat Stanford on a high. Last week, go down to Boston College. And Lincoln correctly predicted that game. In fact, he had another one. Lincoln, hey, Jay, remember last week? Lincoln had another one. He had Mississippi State over
called
LSU.
Mississippi State LSU.
That's 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks ago, he has Boston College over USC outright. Last week, he has Mississippi State over LSU outright. Big man was impressive last week.
They not only beat him, they blew him out.
It wasn't even close. It's a different, man. Alabama wins, and they kind of win going away a little bit. But this is not the same Alabama team. In the same vein, it's not the same LSU team either. It's got that weird feeling this year. In the first year of the playoffs, it's got a little bit of college football's got that odd kind of vibe about it.
You know what it's setting up to be, cuz, and I hate to say this because it pains me to say this, but some kind of way it just feels like a Notre Dame year.
Dude, I was thinking that, dude. I hate
to say that. I don't think I could live with that, but it's setting up.
I knew you were going to say. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you know what? These teams, none of them are great. None of these teams are great. Florida State was better last year.
Yes.
You fear Oregon is nasty, but they got holes.
Defense isn't good enough.
Right. Big Ten down. You really can't take the Big Ten. I mean, they'll get one in.
Michigan State probably.
Yeah. But they're, it's not a great year for Big Ten. And look, as much as we all love the SEC, Alabama's not Alabama. I'm sorry.
No, I think all of the teams in SEC will lose at least once.
Yeah. And I think you're right on. I think the Irish.
It looks like a Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Oregon.
Yes. Pick your SEC school. Pick one. And Oklahoma, You know what? For the first time, Oklahoma's always got that I'm a paper tiger thing.
Yeah, they look serious this year.
They do, and it's funny because I fell into the Sooner trap many times, only to watch them come up small in bowl games and in big games. I think I agree with you. I think they're actually legit. I think they're tough enough to win that big game and win the big game going away. I feel you on that. All right. We still got a big hour. We got to go through our NFL game, all of our NFL games. We'll go through our picks of the week. We got all kinds of stuff straight ahead. We're the fellas. I'm Anthony Gargano, fella today. Lincoln, London, right here on Fox.
Magic number. Line drive toward left. It's going to be a fair ball. It's headed down to the corner. Wild cards. The pinch hit. Run scoring double. Teams making that last push. Deep right field. Forget about it. That's right. It's the race to the Fall Classic.
We're getting after it, my friends.
The MLB is covered here. We are Fox Sports.
Everything you love about fall in one mug. Hey, I'm Eric from Sam Adams. Sam Adams Oktoberfest is here.
It's really good.
Sweet, malty, and delicious.
Cheers.
Oh wow, that's really tasty.
If I were to think of a taste of like Halloween, it'd be Oktoberfest.
Smooth caramel roasted mallet.
In the fall, when I see it, I grab it.
The Oktoberfest is what I look forward to every year. This is just perfection in a glass.
Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Enjoy it while it's here. Boston Beer, Boston, Mass. Sip responsibly.
The Garage, your domain, where a wall full of tool stacks holds the stories of past projects, where the utility light hangs like a loyal friend. So when you have to make the trip for parts, you want to make it fast. Just order your parts online at advanceautoparts.com. You can pick them up in-store in just 30 minutes, then get right back to doing what you love. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
Visit advanceautoparts.com now to learn more.
Sports fans, this is the world champion handicapper Jeff Allen from Las Vegas. Saturday early report against the spread. Documented 30-4 run. That's 88% winners. And right now confirmed. Tennessee, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M, SEC Parlay of the Year, free on the message phone. Call 1-800-870-2283. I love the games today. I'm going 7-0 free to all callers. 1-800-870-2283. A&M, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, Cincinnati, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Syracuse, Oregon State, USC, South Carolina, Missouri, all free. 7-0 free to all callers. 1-800-870-2283. Jeff Allen Sports #1 college football against the spread. Call now. I'm giving you 7 winners. 7-0 free or the season free. 1-800-870-2283. Go to VegasScoresAndOdds.com.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, OcalaMacPC.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All Is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All Is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA.
To the house again! The college football season is in full swing.
Back of the end zone, touchdown!
Your team, your school, your colors.
Breaks a tackle, and there's orange in the end zone.
College football.
I am excited and fired up.
You don't even know why you're excited, do you?
In the backfield, he stopped, he's short of the first down. It's all your college football action.
10-5, he scores!
Right here. We are Fox Sports! Tonight on Fox Sports 1, catch all your favorite drivers as the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Las Vegas. Tonight starting at 10 p.m. Eastern exclusively on your home for racing. Fox Sports 1.
All right, welcome back. We are the fellas right here on Fox. Big Link is in London, so the fellas are a fella today. And by the way, we're brought to you by Red Wing Shoes, Red Wing work boots, and are purpose-built for your job. That's right, because work is our work. All right, every Saturday at this time, we go to the two-time world champion handicapper, Jeff Allen, making his clients tons of money for over 28 years. VegasScoresAndOdds.com. 800-870-2283 is the best number to call for the free weekend of best bets. So let's go out to Las Vegas for our PointsBet report, which is brought to you by VegasScoresAndOdds.com, home of the guaranteed winner from the nation's leading sports handicappers. That's VegasScoresAndOdds.com to win. All right, now let's bring in two-time world champion handicapper Jeff Allen. He's been red hot against the spread. He was 8-1 last week, big time. What do you say, Jeff?
Oh, loving the action, loving the weekend. I guess I wish I was across the pond. How do you get a trip like that anyway? Wow.
I know, right? Isn't that nice? He's with the Raiders across the pond. Hey, look, I think after you're making everybody so much money, I think he just flies all over, man. We'll have a big party in London. What do you say?
Yeah, there you go. At the end of this, after college basketball season, right. Not going anywhere before then.
Well, you got a lot of work to do, but after that, we'll all go to London. That's a deal.
All right.
All right, buddy. Let's get started. Let's look at the college, and let's look at Arkansas and A&M, Jeff. How do you kind of look at this game?
Pretty big game. They started last season 3-0. They lose. They finish, and they go 0-9 the rest of the way, and then they get beat up a little bit by Auburn. The game was 21-21 at halftime. Week 1, Razorbacks. Then they've won 3 in a row here. It's kind of a staple game for them. The big guy, Brett Bielema, comes over from Wisconsin. He's building the program. He's building the offensive line. He's building the rushing attack. That's what he does. You got Alex Collins and Jonathan Williams getting done on the ground. The key for this game, really, Razorbacks are going to have to play defense on offense by rushing the football. I think they got to have a time of possession, a dominant 7, 8, 10-minute time of possession to slow down this Texas A&M operation. We know all about Johnny Football gone. Kenny Football in now. He's got 1,300 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 1 pick. Josh Reynolds, a big deep threat there. Technicals in this spot here. Arkansas 6-1 over last 7 after scoring 40. Razorbacks 4-0 against teams with a winning record. A&M 8-2 over last 10 in conference. Improving Arkansas team, I would say. Like the coach there. Great football game. Going to lean towards the rushing game here, taking the points, and certainly a high-scoring game.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun, man. Lots of points in that one. How about the Pac-12? And it's a fascinating one. It's Stanford and Washington. Of course, Big Link's alma mater in Washington. What do you think?
Big game. Stanford losing that game to Southern Cal, already 0-1 in conference play, can ill afford to go 0-2 in conference. Kevin Hogan, we know, outstanding job. Barry Sanders sighting, that's right, the son of the great Barry Sanders. 18 carries, $142 against Army, 8 yards per play. Ty Montgomery, outstanding return guy, outstanding receiver. He's got 22 catches on the year. Chris Peterson taking over, coming in from Boise. Siler Miles doing a nice job there, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He's pretty good with the feet as well. Washington Huskies return all 5 starting linemen. They've got 150 career starts for Washington. That offensive line should be getting it done. Defense, Stanford, number 1 in the nation. A couple of techs here. Stanford, 9-1 under last 10 versus teams with a winning record. Stanford, 7-1 under last 8 conference games. Washington is on a 10-1 under last 11 home games. We're going to look, this last 2 decided by 3 and 4 points. Big game for both teams here. Going to look for a close game, leaning towards the points. Do like the under as well.
The under, yeah, I like that. That's why you're the sharp guy, man. That's a sharp type of play. All right, how about this one? Let's stay in the Pac-12, and let's go to Oregon State and USC.
Well, a huge game here. Beavers, of course, coming off the beatdown of San Diego State. Southern Cal off the bye week after getting beat up by Boston College, which was one of your outstanding underdog plays of the month. I should have been all over that with you. Sean Mannion getting it done for the Beavers. Ward and Storm Woods on the ground. Beavers doing it mostly on defense. Ranked 6th in the nation. Steve Sarkisian taking over for Southern Cal. Cody Kessler, outstanding, 8 touchdowns, no picks. A couple of techs in this matchup here. Oregon State 20-7 against the number of last 27 road games against teams with a winning record. Head-to-head, this matchup is 4-0 against the spread to the underdog and 4-1 under last 5 meetings here. The shredding of the defense by Southern Cal with Boston College had 452 rushing yards in that game. I do like the pro-caliber style quarterback, Sean Mannion for Oregon State. Going to look towards the dog here, take the points with the Beavers.
I like that a lot. All right, let's look now at the pros. Hey, just because you're always in on the number, and it's a lot of times during the week that thing moves like a stock. It's a lot of volatility. But give us some of the big line movements, both in college and in the NFL. And sometimes, what does that movement mean to you?
Well, to me, I'll tell you exactly the way it works, okay? It's either a sharp money play coming in. Give you an example, like the Giant game on Thursday night. You saw a lot of movement on the Giants, the money coming in on the Giants. The public is kind of in love with Washington and Kirk Cousins before that football game, but the sharp money was coming in on the Giants, and you have to know the difference. Now, sometimes these big betting syndicates, and I'm not going to mention any names, of course,
sure.
They'll throw some action out in Vegas. They'll have 50, 100 dimes in action on a game in Vegas to get the ball rolling. And then you see the public jumping on the train, and then what they do is offshore and even in Macau, they come in the other way really hard. So they set the market, get it going over here, and then they move 2, 3, 4 times the money in Macau. So the movement of the line often means quite a few different things. The totals have been moving like crazy in college football, 4, 5, 6, 8 points. Pro games, we saw the flip of the Bears opening 2, and now Green Bay 2. That's a 4-point swing there. Not great movement. Colts with the information about Tennessee, they're moving in on the Colts. Also for the move on Detroit. The game opens pick, Detroit Jets pick. It's to Detroit. So it really depends if you're looking for the sharp money plays or, what the public is doing. You got to know the difference.
That's interesting. All right, let's look at the Niners and the Eagles. And this is a fascinating game because you have a desperate team in the Niners and the Eagles, an unbeaten team, 3-0, who have scored in the high 30s each of the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. A very, very important game for San Francisco. Philadelphia down all 3 games by double digits, and they're 3-0 in the season. That says a lot about their conditioning, that whole second-half program. The Chip Kelly's, a lot of grumbling going on there. Nick Foles picking up from last year, getting the job done. San Fran, you mentioned, desperate team. Last game against Arizona, Gore and Carlos Hyde, they come in with 30 yards rushing. That's not going to get it done. Second halves of the last 2 games, the 49ers have been outscored 52-3. Second halves. Obviously, that's a big problem. They got to get adjusted here. I'll go right to the numbers matchup, and this is important. Teams that come off the road as a divisional road favorite, they lose the game, they come home, and they're favored in the range of 4-7. This sets up in the San Francisco assistant here. This spot here, they're 12-1 straight up, 12-1 against the spread, meaning a good team is coming home and they need to fire a bullet. That's what the 49ers are going to do. Harbaugh has not lost 3 straight as the head coach. Niners 25-10 off the loss. Philly suffering another key injury on the offensive line last week. It's go time. It's go time for San Francisco. They're laying the 5. I'm on the 49ers.
Yeah, this is something that's funny about the line. You know that saying, the line tells you something? And when you look at the Niners at 1-2, a 5-point favorite against a 3-0 Eagles team, is it meant to kind of sucker everybody? Oh, look at this. The Eagles are 3-0, catching 5 points. Well, they got to cover that.
Yeah, and the public is in love with Philadelphia for sure. Why not? Their offense is moving, and the defense looks a little bit improved. An awful lot of blitzing. I mean, you did see the Redskins light them up for 500 yards last weekend in that big divisional. They're coming off a monster divisional win too. Also, so that's a negative. They got to go out to the West Coast and face this San Francisco operation, desperate, monster defense. They're looking to get the job done, and I believe that the 49ers are going to play one of their best games and get the job done against Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm with you. Any other games stick out NFL-wise to you, buddy?
Well, I mean, if you want to look at a little desperation, I mean, the Pack is 1-2 on the season. You got A-Rod's one of the best in the business. Chicago, a lot of depth injuries in the Chicago secondary. You would think this is a game that McCarthy is going to go with the power rushing game. He's going to throw Eddie Lacy at you. He's going to throw Starks at you to get the job done. Set up the play action with Aaron Rodgers, who's lights out. I mean, it's go time here for Green Bay. They can afford to blow this game here and fall behind down 0-2 in division play. That's a big move, and the Sharps are on that game as well. Atlanta, Minnesota, because Atlanta looks lights out, but they're technically in a funky spot here. When they start their first game of 2 road games in a row, their first leg of that trip, they're like 2-11 against the numbers. So that could be a little bit of a trap game there. And, of course, New Orleans, Dallas, wow, what a game. The Saints are 1-2. Dallas is 2-1. But let's face it, the Dallas secondary is not, their defense does not look good at all. So an important game there, a big TV matchup for tomorrow night.
There he is, Jeff Allen, 2-time world champion handicapper, making his clients tons of money for over 28 years. VegasScoresAndOdds.com. Best number to call you, Jeff, 800-870-2283. That sound good?
That's a free weekend for all callers right now. Get the job done with all my best bets right through Monday. No charge. 1-800-870-2283.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Here is Jeff Allen. All right, we're going to take a quick respite, and then we're going to come back, and we got a big one Sunday night. Cowboys and Saints, and number one Cowboy fan, Deb Carson, the Baylor beauty queen, is going to join us coming up next. But first, the ILO beauty queen is going to tell us what's trending.
Today at the Ryder Cup, Europe leading Team USA 6.5 to 5.5 right now in Scotland. Baseball, the longest postseason drought in North American professional sports, is over. On Friday night, the Kansas City Royals clinched their first postseason appearance since 1985 with a 3-1 win over the White Sox, and pitcher James Shields appreciates Royals fans' loyalty and patience.
Never gets old. I've been through a lot of these, and this one's pretty special. 29 years waiting. Hopefully we make Kansas City proud.
And they're just one back of the first-place Tigers in the AL Central with 2 games remaining. The Mariners are 2 back of the A's for the final AL wildcard spot with 2 to play. The Pirates are 1 back of the first-place Cardinals in the NL Central with 2 games to go. Also Friday, the Angels and Nationals clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I'm Isaac Lowenkron, breaking sports news as it happens.
We are Fox Sports! That's my dog! Sorry for all the football on Fox and Fox Sports 1 this season. Today on Fox, Stanford takes on Washington at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8, Baylor travels to Iowa to take on ISU. All live on Fox.
All right. Welcome back. Fellas right here, coming live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for the free rate quote. Links in London. I had to get my girl up here on the Progressive Insurance Celebrity Hotline. Big one Sunday night. Cowboys and Saints. Deb Carson, Deb!
Good morning, Anthony. Happy week 4.
Happy week 4 to you. How's everything, Deb? You ready?
Everything, absolutely ready. Ready for Baylor this afternoon. Ready for the Cowboys on Sunday night. Have a little show my brother's producing on CBS. It's airing this morning, so excited for him. So it's a good weekend.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. So this is, to me, you're going to find out all you need to know about the Cowboys. Big game, home game, Sunday night, nationally televised. Everything's riding on it, and you get the Saints. You have a quality team, a team that's 1-2, and I think this is the week you learn about the Cowboy defense, really.
Well, absolutely, because obviously, the offense couldn't get things going against a not-so-great defense last week, and it took, I still don't know how they did it, but they rallied from 3 touchdowns down to beat, again, a not-great team. You've got Drew Brees, who, the 1-2 Saints are not a 1-2 team. They're a better team than their record indicates, obviously, so... if this defense can actually stop the Saints, then it's like, all right, maybe they will meet or surpass that 8-8, that dubious mark that they seem to be stuck at the last couple of seasons. But again, their offense should never have stalled like it did last week either. So it's going to be a fun game, and it's in Dallas. So I don't know that matters because they don't tend to do exceedingly well or so much better at home than they do on the road, but obviously the Saints, Drew Brees coming home to Texas also. He always does well there. So it's going to be a fun game. It'll be a shootout, I think. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense in this game, personally.
All right, Deb, let me ask you this. What do you think about Chip Kelly?
How dare you? Yeah. Listen, Chip Kelly's a great coach, and I'm telling you, your Eagles offense is a lot of fun to watch. Somebody's gonna find a way. They can't. Again, they have this slow start, and then they've got a couple of players complaining about the conditioning, which is, by the way, what's kept them in the game somehow over the last 3 weeks. But Chip Kelly's a great coach.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah,
he really is. Let me hear you say it again. No, I'm just teasing. I know. I go. You should see how overboard I go too. Like during the week, it's ridiculous. Because here's the thing: the guy is smarter. I've been around a lot of great coaches, Pat Riley and Phil Jackson and the whole thing, Belichick, Parcells, all those guys. This guy is like those guys.
Well, yeah, it's funny because he's kind of on that same level as Pete Carroll, where everybody's like, skeptical of how are they going to do with NFL players? They're not going to respond to a rah-rah coach. But he seems to have rallied these guys, and again, they seem to have bought into the program, and they're winning, so what's not to buy into?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's pretty amazing. All right, let's do a little breakdown for a couple games with us, okay? So let's start off. I'm going to invite Jay, too, to make some picks. So let's start off with the big one in the Sunday night game involving your team, Cowboys and Saints. How do you see the Saints are a 3-point favorite in Dallas?
Yeah. Well, obviously, as a lifelong Cowboys fan, I'd love to say they're going to win, but I think New Orleans actually gets it together, and I think it's going to be a close one, but I think the Saints win.
Yeah. Jay, let me ask you.
I'll take the Saints until the Cowboys prove it to me. I have to go against the grain. I'll take the Saints.
Yeah, you know what? That makes it unanimous. I love the Saints, but part of it, too, is like, look, Dallas' defense looked really, really good against Tennessee, but just who is Tennessee? Now, I know that sometimes in the NFL, 2 + 2 doesn't always equal 4, but, I'm still not sold this Dallas defense, so we'll all agree. All right, let me ask you about this one. Let me ask you about the Niners and the Eagles. Deb, you go first.
Well, I'm gonna take the Eagles in this one. Colin Kaepernick and the Niners haven't really proven a lot to me this season. Again, I think they are they're better than they've been playing, but I think again the Eagles have bought in. I think they're on a roll. I don't think they let themselves get behind in this one, so I'm going to go Philly.
Wow! So you pick against the Cowboys and for the Eagles. You're a pro's pro, Deb.
Well, I didn't say I'm happy about it, but, you're asking me for
you're a pro's pro.
Opinion.
All right, Jay. Jay's an unabashed Niner fan.
Yeah, this one is tough because I think the Niners actually, when the going gets tough, they actually put their back up against the wall and fight hard. But something about this defense, the corners, and I'm not sold on Kaepernick. As much as I don't see the Eagles being a 4-0 team, I mean, I guess going east is tough, and you playing in Philly, I guess you take the Eagles.
Well, you know what's funny about this? I'm going to take the
Niners. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Look, as much as I want to say, 4-0, I think this is a tough spot for them. I think the desperate team is San Francisco. Eagles missing some big offensive line help. So I think there's some issues there. I think it's a Niners game. I do. How about the all three of us picked against our team?
Wow. Now, Jay, did you roll on that?
Yeah, I have that. Okay. That thing will be played teased. That'll be a drop. We'll make a song out of it.
Yeah, it kills me because Chip Kelly's still God. Put that in the song. Chip Kelly is still God. But I think
we dumped that part. Don't worry about it.
All right, let's give you another one. Let's go Green Bay, Chicago. This is a great game. This is the game of the NFC North. Deb, I'll ask you first. Green Bay, Chicago.
I'm going Packers because, again, I don't think that the Bears are who they were the other night. Again, I'd love to see Jay Cutler have a decent career, and I'd love to see him be the guy everybody expected him to be. But I think Aaron Rodgers is the guy everybody expects him to be. Again, they've been a little banged up too, but going into Soldier Field, I'm going Packers.
All right, Jay?
Yeah, this is kind of one of those toss-up games, but I'll take Chicago. I like the wide receivers on the Packers defense. I'm not sold on Green Bay all the way around. I really don't like their defense, and their offense hasn't been as explosive as everyone has thought. I'll take the Bears.
All right, you're going to go Bears. I'm going to go Packers. I love Green Bay in this spot.
Of course you do.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You always ride with Rodgers.
Well, if you got to ride with someone, it might as well be Aaron Rodgers, right?
No, not really.
I buy in.
All right, let's look at this one. Detroit and the Jets. The Lions have been one of the... I think that NFC North is the best division. It's even better than the NFC West from top to bottom. And then Detroit, New York, are the Lions for real, Deb?
I don't know that the Lions are for real. I know that the Jets are not, though, so I go Lions.
Jay.
Heckle and Jekyll with the Lions, but I think they have enough to get by the lowly Jets.
All right, I like the Lions too. I think the Lions are for real. A guy I do. I love Stafford. I do. I think he puts it together. Anyway, all right, I'll give you this one: Carolina, Baltimore. We saw Carolina really struggle. Cam struggled mightily Sunday night against the Steelers. Now going to Baltimore. Deb, how's that game play out?
I'm going Ravens on this one. Again, Carolina missing some pieces on defense. Baltimore is at home. Steve Smith, I think, has a big game against the Panthers for Baltimore, so I'll go Ravens.
Ravens it is. Jay?
Yeah, this is both of them really don't impress me. It's probably one of the tougher ones to pick. I like Carolina just based on Cam and the defense, but I guess you take Baltimore at home, seeing what Cam did against the Steelers, pretty much the same team. I take the Ravens.
Yeah, I'll agree. And the last one let's look at is New England at Kansas City on a Monday night. Kansas Arrowhead will be fired up, particularly off the Royals afterglow. It's New England coming into town, a frenzied Arrowhead Stadium. Deb, how's that game play?
Well, I know Arrowhead is truly a rough place to play, but as you say, you always ride with Aaron Rodgers. I have a hard time ever picking against Tom Brady, no matter who he's trying to throw to. So I'm going Patriots.
All right. And Jay?
I follow that cap. Pretty much everything I was going to say, Deb said.
All right. I'm going to go Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs in the upset on a Monday night, and I'll ride with Reed on Monday night. All right, last thing, Deb. I gave out a riddle, and the riddle was, who's hanging him up? As big as Jeter, someone's hanging him up tonight.
Well, I believe Bobby Abreu's hanging him up, but I don't know if I'd put him in the Jeter category.
This guy is as big as Jeter, bigger than Jeter, and has a parallel, and he's actually hanging him up in a ceremony in Italy tonight.
Huh.
In Italy, in a ceremony.
In Italy, in a ceremony.
Tonight, and I'm sure you're a fan of his.
Wow. That's a good one.
Jay, you have it? I think you do. You want to give it?
I do not.
You don't?
No, I do not.
All right, Clooney it is. George Clooney.
Oh, Clooney!
Yeah.
Oh.
I figured you were a fan, Deb.
I am a fan, but I was thinking sports. And yeah, it's funny because I looked on the internet last night seeing all the pictures of him going out with his group and her going out with her group. And yeah, can you believe it? Can you believe he's getting married? I mean, I think this is almost bigger than when Warren Beatty got married because, well, this is more, our generation, I guess. Or,
all right, last thing, real quick, Deb. Jeter or Clooney for you?
Wow. Gosh, that's a tough one. Can I split time?
Now you sound like Jay and I with our girls. There you go. Deb, thank you so much. Great to talk to you as always. Have a great week and enjoy the game.
Thank you, you too.
There she is, Deb Carson on the Progressive Insurance Celebrity Hotline. All right, we'll come back and we'll wrap it up. I'm Anthony Gargano, the fellas, right here on Fox.
You keep missing your favorite show.
That is...
I'm pretty bummed out.
Not cool. Here's the best thing to do.
Podcast them at foxsportsradio.com. It's all at your fingertips. Podcast it. It's foxsportsradio.com. We are Fox Sports.
Listen up, everybody. This is Flo with a Progressive Insurance Alert. Don't even try to change that channel. I'm on all of them. So, you already know Snapshot rewards our customers for their good driving. Well, now anyone can test drive Snapshot for free, even if you have insurance with another company. See how much you could save before you switch your insurance. Also, I'm offering kazoo lessons on Saturdays.
Test drive Snapshot today. Visit progressive.com/snapshot. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states.
More than 700 quick lane tire and auto centers across this country, and she chooses mine.
I need tires all season and at a great price.
She wanted it all, but even she was surprised once I crunched the numbers. Soon her Taurus was ready to roll.
Say, you're good, Mr.
Murphy, ma'am, at your service, even on weekends.
With great prices on 13 name brand tires and no appointment necessary, Quick Lane is ready to serve. Visit quicklane.com.
Hey,
check it out. There's a money-saving surprise for you in this week's ad for Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. It's 10% off all your purchases, everything you buy this week at Bob Wine's as they welcome fall with a week of huge savings. Got veggies? Bob's got them. He's got them all from broccoli to zucchini. $2.25 for the jumbo 4-pack. Same price for tomatoes and peppers. $2.25 for the jumbo 4-pack. Plus the entire stock of your favorite herbs, just $2.99 and $3.99. Big savings on all flowers and plants just in for fall, including azaleas, camellias, hydrangea, hanging baskets, holly, and so much more. Clip your 10% off coupon to maximize your savings. All this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Now open 9 to 4 until 2 on Saturdays, growing greener with Ocala since 1952.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line and a new spoiler and a new truck.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
You want access to our locker room?
Welcome, everybody.
Log on to FoxSportsRadio.com and register.
Welcome to paradise.
What am I going to see in there? The locker room contains rants, upcoming sports events, info, and much more. Information. That's the locker room.
Enter identification.
Register now.
Enter password.
At FoxSportsRadio.com.
Oh, it's great.
Register now for the locker room.
You now have access.
At FoxSportsRadio.com.
Great to have you.
We are Fox Sports.
This is
The one is on.
Fox Sports 1.
I know you want me, you know I want you.
America's new sports network. Go to FoxSports1.com to find the channel number for Fox Sports 1 in your area.
All right, welcome back, fellas, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Had a blast today, as always, on an NFL weekend, a Saturday college football game day, and, of course, how about the Royals? We opened the show with a salute to the Royals, and now we need to end the show with a salute to the Royals. Jay, do me a favor. Let's get a little Royal sound from last night, and let's get that going, because that was what a special, special night in Kansas City. Not since 1985. 1985 do we have the Royals in the postseason. It's a great baseball story. The Kansas City Royals back in the postseason. We had a guy call earlier who had gotten married in Game 6 of the Royals and Cardinals World Series in 1985, which is completely awesome. And his father-in-law gave him tickets for Game 7. And he went that following night, and he said, look, I always know my anniversary because of the Royals, which is really, really cool thing. Jay, do we have that? We got it? Oh, okay. Because I want to play the end of that incredible night last night in Kansas City, where Kansas City finally gets to celebrate. All right, we didn't get a chance to talk about baseball a little bit, and I want to. It looks like everything's set, other than the A's and the Mariners. The A's have to lose one of two. Have to lose both, against Texas. I don't see that happening, but this is kind of what you're looking at. You're looking at the playoff teams for Major League Baseball now that we're at the end of the season. Baltimore with a great year Baltimore had, and with all those injuries, Chris Davis suspension, Machado going down, Wieters going down, one after the other. Baltimore wins that AL East. The Tigers in Kansas City, we talk about the Royals, they still have a shot to take the division. So Kansas City still has that shot to win the division. And let's take a listen to last night real quick.
Popped up. Salvador Perez. What a team. What a season. What a relief. The Kansas City Royals are off the hook and headed back to the postseason. It is not only a KCW, it is a KC celebration.
Congratulations, everyone.
And there it was, Kansas City. All right, so Kansas City still has some life within the division. Tigers go down to Minnesota. The Twins with Phillip Hughes. Like, dude, seriously, I guess quickly. Jay, are you kidding me? Why does he turn down $500,000?
Man, we were just saying, I know you're trying to be honorable and all, but please stop that. Okay. This is a business, and they would turn on you just as quick as you would turn on them.
Yeah, dude, they offered you the money.
Yeah, you got to take that. Pocket that for your family, your children.
They said it's cool. No, we got you. That's where you go, all right, thanks. You got me? Great. Here's my $500,000.
Exactly. You tried to do the honorable thing. They turned back around and offered it again. It's one of those things where it's, hey, man, let me take you out to dinner. Okay, let me pick up the drinks. No, I got it, man. Let me pick up the drinks. No, I got. Okay, man, just pick up the drinks then.
Unbelievable, dude. It really is. It's incredible. All right. Also, just to round it out, Jay, because you're a baseball man like myself, it looks like your A's are going to be in, and the Angels out west. Also, Washington rolls with the NL East. St. Louis and Pittsburgh in the Central Division still up for grabs. Dodgers and Giants out west. Team to watch, Jay. Who's your squad to watch?
I like Nationals. Sneaky.
Yeah, so do I. Could be a Baltimore Nationals type of year.
I could see it.
You could do it. I mean, we talking about Kansas City and St. Louis. This could be the Baltimore-Washington World Series. All right, but it's a football weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening. Jay did a great job as always. Everyone, have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. Fellas are out.
We are
Dan, did you know that the runway at Ocala's airport is nearly 8,000 feet long?
Why, no, Brad. I did not. Please, tell me more about said runway.
Seriously, it's a big airport.
Yeah, I kind of knew that. So what's your point?
Well, just that most people don't even realize there's an airport, much less one that's big enough for Air Force One to land.
And
that Ocala Aviation is based at Ocala International Airport.
So why are you telling me?
So that you can help me get the word out that Ocala Aviation has a fleet of airplanes and it's here for them to learn to fly.
And how do you propose we get said message across to so many people at once?
We should put an ad on a good radio station, but yours will do.
Very funny. Well, what do you want to say?
That we offer private, instrument, and even commercial training, all right here in Ocala. They don't even have to go anywhere else. They can do it all right here.
Nope, never work.
Well, then give them the number to call with any questions.
I can't even remember your number.
Yes, you do. 861-7484. How hard is that?
Okay, I'll call you next week and we'll get it started.
Can you remember the number this time?
Yes, 861-7484.
Good boy.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out. New shows? Check. We are Force. Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire because that's how exotic it is. We are Force.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
We are The Source, WOCA, news, talk, sports, and more.
We're going to build a monument for him in St. Louis, and he walked away from it. I think the player in all of sports, other than Jeter, who will get the tribute like we've never seen is Tom Brady. I think it's Tom Brady. Brady's the next athlete in any major sport who will get this type of tribute when he leaves the Patriots, assuming he retires a Patriot, which I think he will.
You know that we don't stop the party. JT the Brick with Tom Looney.
If you miss any portion of the show, you can always podcast us.
Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We are Force.
You put your keys between your knuckles. Someone approaches you and you cross to the other side of the street. You lock the door behind you, maybe twice. Now you feel safe. You think you've made the right choices to protect yourself. Think again. Because if you're not eating right, if you're not active, or if you smoke, you're putting yourself at risk for disease. Learn to protect yourself from yourself at everydaychoices.org. A message from the American Cancer Society, American...
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A college in Texas reeling from an accident which killed 4 students on an Oklahoma freeway.
The bus carrying the women's softball team from North Central Texas College was on its way home to Gainesville after a game at Southern Nazarene University in Bethany, Oklahoma Friday night when it suddenly collided with a semi-truck. A spokesperson for the State Highway Patrol says the semi was heading north when it veered left and crossed the grassy median before striking the bus.
Fox Radio's Karen McHugh. There are still hundreds of delays and cancellations a day after flights were grounded at Chicago's major airports because of a control center fire, allegedly an act of sabotage by a contract employee.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives are investigating the incident, and the FAA is supporting the investigation.
Elizabeth Isham-Corey with the FAA. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
Table for one?
Right. There's like 12 of you, miss?
Oh, that's just my back office. They're always with me.
Okay.
With Sage, you're securely connected to your back office no matter where you are, so you can make the sale, send the invoice, and see how it all adds up from anywhere.
They're not going to get out of hand, are they?
Now the power to make confident business decisions follows you everywhere. Use Sage to make your back office as mobile as you are at workfromsage.com. That's workfromsage.com.
Sports Radio. We'll handle the first half here. Here's the numbers for you. 877-99 on Fox. Get in on the conversation. Follow us on Twitter at Cannon Hartman, at Coach Ricks, hashtag FoxCFB. Today, Mr. Ricks, are you ready for a big day of football?
Mr. Hartman, I am ready to roll. The Noles back up at NC State. Upset a couple years ago, looking to get revenge. We got Stanford at Washington, Oregon State, USC, Missouri, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas A&M, and even a matchup in the SEC. Traditionally has been a great matchup. Tennessee at Georgia. See if maybe the Vols can make some noise today down in the South. So, big day of college football.
Absolutely. Four top 25 teams are kicking off right now. Kansas State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Georgia. We're going to keep you updated on all the games, all of the Division I games out there, and maybe something happening at a lower division if it catches our eye. Well, there's already one game in the books this week, a matchup, the only
Your
matchup.
game.
Yes, 2 top 25 teams, undefeated UCLA at undefeated Arizona State. Now, you know the way I've been feeling about the Bruins this year, Chris, in the sense that I kept waiting to see the team everyone was hyping up. A team that a lot of people had on their radar to be in the Final Four. A team that many favored to not only go undefeated, but maybe feature a Heisman Trophy winner in Brett Hundley. And through the first 3 games, they were lucky to survive all those games against Virginia, Memphis, and Texas.
Absolutely. We know it was their defense that saved them in week 1. Virginia offense kind of bailed them out in the Rose Bowl versus Memphis. And then your boy Jerry Neuheisel come in and saves the day versus Texas. And yes, we were all waiting to see, is this UCLA team legit? Are they playoff worthy come the end of the season? Is Brett Hundley a legitimate Heisman contender? And they finally looked like a team that had the kind of talent and had the kind of explosiveness offensively of putting up 62 points on Arizona State in the Sun Devils' home, the former Pac-12 South champions, and really getting their revenge. You know, I'm talking about the Noles getting revenge on NC State today from 2 years ago, and that's what I was looking for to see. Would UCLA do that against a team that took the Pac-12 South title from them last year? Could they come and show that they were legit? And they did do it.
Well, early on, it didn't look that way. It was 17-6 Arizona State early on with their backup quarterback in the game. UCLA had no defense.
Bercovici.
Sun Devils are going up and down the field. I was at a UCLA viewing party, and I'm booing. I'm booing what I'm seeing out there. Then UCLA got the lead back 2017, but Bertolucci had them in a situation where they could take the lead, or at the very least get a tying field goal before the halftime. And then this happened.
Bercovici, he'll throw this one. Intercepted. Ishmael Adams at the 10, 25-30, 35-40, 45-50, 45-40, 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. He's gone. Touchdown, UCLA.
That's Chris Roberts there on the UCLA Sports Network from ING. So Ishmael Adams completely turns the game around with that big return, but he wasn't done.
Ishmael Adams, 5 yards deep. He's going to run it out across the 5, the 10, center of the field, 15. Breaks a tackle with the 25, up to the 30, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. He's done it again.
Unbelievable 105-yard kickoff return. Again, courtesy of the UCLA Sports Network from IMG. In this game for UCLA, they had 5 plays of 80 or more yards. Now, I don't know how many times that's happened in college football history, but to have 5 plays in one game that were at least 80 yards is mind-blowing.
It is. That does not happen very often, especially when you're playing a formidable opponent. You know, maybe if you're playing a
on
FCS
the road,
school.
no less.
Yeah, it's one of those cupcake games. Anita likes when I say cupcake. She's probably listening right now. So, yes, especially in a game where you're taking 2 powerhouses from a conference, rivals, teams that are competing for the conference championship, you don't see that. But you want to know who made some money? Whether he comes out or not, everybody was watching Thursday night's game. Ishmael Adams made some money on Thursday night. You want to talk about putting your stock through the roof.
No doubt about that. Also putting his stock through the roof was a quarterback that we didn't even know was going to play until kickoff, and that is Brett Hundley. Now, I have been holding back, but
is he through the roof already? Are you putting through the roof in the same sense with Hundley already?
18 of 23, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 72 yards rushing, and another touchdown.
It's up.
His passer rating was 256 in this game. Now, I got my Heisman update a little bit later on the show. Will not include that game because, of course, that falls into the next week of games. And
that's a funny thing about football. You would think that would come maybe in week 1 versus Virginia or Memphis at home. Not against Arizona State in their house when he's coming off an injury. With that elbow.
Well, that's how you get yourself in the Heisman race.
Yeah.
You have your biggest games
to get back in.
when you have everybody watching.
National stage.
That's what you need to do. And, of course, in a couple of weeks, UCLA will be taking on Oregon out at the Rose Bowl, so that's obviously going to be a big game. They got a couple
We may have to go to that one. We may have to do the show on location. We may have to pitch it to Annie Z and Mr. Gilbert. We need to be on location for this game, for this show.
The thing that kills me about these games is we don't know when that's even going to kick off.
Yeah.
They always wait till the last second. It's going to be a day game, a night game. We don't even know
It'll probably be a primetime game, probably like a 4:35 kickoff.
But UCLA still has some work to do before then. They'll have a home game against Utah. And we talk about some of these games, or we're going to preview all your morning games.
What's Utah's mascot again, Steve?
They're the Utes.
All right, there you go.
You say Utes.
Just making sure.
You say Utes. But, you always talk about these trap games. Your Florida State Seminoles. Is this a trap game against NC State? I seem to remember the Wolfpack doing a number on the Noles in the past.
It could be because of what happened a couple of years ago. Noles were rolling. They go in there. I believe it was Mike Glennon, the quarterback for NC State, pulls off the upset in the end and essentially knocked Florida State out of the national championship picture. I don't see it happening today for a few reasons. Number one, we know the scare they had against Clemson at home. Number 2, you've got Jameis Winston coming back, and if I'm him, I want to come out like gangbusters, light it up, and show that I'm still the quarterback of this team and still the best quarterback in the nation. So Jameis Winston is going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's been itching for 2 weeks to get back on the field. And then, as we mentioned earlier, that revenge factor, knowing the last time that Florida State went up there, they were upset by NC State. So a combination of those reasons, I do not see it being a trap game. I don't think Jimbo Fisher's going to allow that to happen. It's been a grind this week in practice after what almost happened to Clemson. Now they get Jameis Winston back. I think the Noles roll tonight up in Raleigh.
All right, so we'll talk about all those games. Coming up in our next hour, by the way, we'll have that a great Pac-12 matchup between Stanford and Washington.
Yeah.
Huskies are undefeated right now, so Washington will be hosting Stanford. Also in the next hour, South Carolina coming out. They're a big win against Georgia. They're home against Missouri, so we'll talk about that one. Also coming up later in this hour, we're going to preview Oregon State at USC, and the Trojans have got to be probably still in shock what happened in BC. They were coming off the big road win against Stanford.
Yes.
17-point favorites on the road against Boston College, and they get outgained on the ground 452-20.
Nobody saw that happening, what happened up in Boston College a couple weeks ago. And as a player, nothing hurts more when you have to wait not just a week, but 2 weeks to get back there and right the ship. You know Trojans are anxious to get back in the Collie today in Los Angeles and get back on track against Oregon State.
We're getting serious with our college football season right now. You know, already it's suddenly dawning on a lot of people out there how complicated it's going to be as far as the Final Four selections are concerned. Mark D'Antonio, the coach of Michigan State, says, wait a second, hold on here. First of all, unless you win your conference championship, you should not even be in the conversation. Now, he says that after his non-conference loss to Oregon and figuring, hey, if we win the Pac-10 championship game, we should definitely be in the conversation. Of course, there's people in the Big 12 saying, championship game? What championship game? We don't even have a championship game. So I think it's finally dawning on people. All these people are so happy that the BCS was gone that, wow, this might be more complicated than we thought, trying to figure out at the end of the season which 4 teams are worthy to be in the so-called playoff.
Mr. Hartman, call me old-fashioned, but I'm going to agree with that. I mean, you've got 5 big power conferences. You got a team like BYU going undefeated.
Right.
Yeah, I think you should be your conference champion to get in the Final Four for that playoff. You know, call me crazy, but you got 4 teams. You got 5 big conferences. You got BYU. You got Notre Dame. I think you're going to be able to get 4 teams that won their conference, whether they had a conference championship game like you do in the Pac-12, like you do in the Big Ten, like you do in the ACC, and like you do in the SEC, or if you just outright win the conference like you do in the Big 12.
So you're saying is if you have, let's say, an undefeated A&M or an undefeated Auburn or undefeated Alabama, and they lose the SEC championship, let's say to a 2-loss Georgia or South Carolina team, that 2-loss team gets over the team that only has 1 loss into the Final Four?
I'm not saying that team that beat them gets in. I'm not saying that's an absolute. Probably neither of them should get in. One of them had 2 losses. One of them lost at the end of the season.
No,
so get them both out of there.
Get
them both out of there. Then you'll have another team that can sneak in there that finished the season strong, maybe out of the Pac-12, maybe out of the Big 12, or again, maybe one of those independents.
Boy, I tell you what, it's going to get crazy. Absolutely.
It's going to be fun, though. Come on, it's college football. It's not life and death. Let's just enjoy the ride, Fox Nation.
That's what we do every Saturday right here on College Football Today here on Fox Sports Radio. 5 full hours for us. It's a 10-hour day of college football only right here on Fox Sports Radio. All right, let's get ready. Our first game we're going to preview coming up, Notre Dame, undefeated. The Fighting Irish ranked at number 8 on the road against the Orange of Syracuse. Next.
Let's do it on 3. It's college football.
Throws wide open. Touchdown.
It's all your college football action right here. We are Fox Sports.
Hi, Tom Bodette. Seems like everyone's filibustering these days, so I thought I'd filibuster your drive time by talking about Motel 6, where you always get a great low rate, which means you save more for what you travel for. Sorry, I need some water and maybe a chair or something. Filibustering is hard, even for 30 seconds. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book by phone at 1-800-4MOTEL-6.
More than 700 quick lane tire and auto centers across this country, and she chooses mine.
I need tires all season and at a great price.
She wanted it all, but even she was surprised once I crunched the numbers. Soon her Taurus was ready to roll.
Say, you're good, Mr.
Murphy, ma'am, at your service, even on weekends.
With great prices on 13 name brand tires and no appointment necessary, Quick Lane is ready to serve. Visit quicklane.com.
Did you know that FanDuel has more players and pays out more money than all the other one-week fantasy football sites combined? Yup, FanDuel is the leader in one-week fantasy football, and they're paying out more than $10 million a week this football season. That's more than any other fantasy football site in the world. If you haven't played there yet, you're really missing out. At FanDuel, you play in one-week fantasy football leagues for real money with immediate cash payouts, and there's no season-long commitment, so you only play when you want. A 28-year-old named Eric Hafner turned a $125 deposit into over $150 $258,000. Damn! And he's not alone. Over 278,000 people have already won money playing in these one-week fantasy football leagues at FanDuel.com. And right now, FanDuel is giving you up to $200 free. That's right. For every dollar you deposit until this Friday, FanDuel will match it up to $200. The only way to get up to $200 free is to go to FanDuel.com, click the microphone in the upper right corner, and use the promo code 3131. That's FanDuel.com, promo code 3131.
Sign up for this year's Marion County Heart Walk and be part of a local movement that's helping others live longer, healthier lives. Join me, Corey Poole, your 2014 Marion County Heart Walk Chairman, and walk with me on Saturday, October the 4th at the Baseline Road Trailhead. It's a free event promoting physical activity and heart-healthy living. To find out how you can help fight the #1 killer of all Americans, visit us online at marionheartwalk.org.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves? Consider adding a beautiful screen room or glass enclosure. We are Superior Aluminum and Design, a family-owned and operated business with 20 years experience in the aluminum industry, and we are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. If you appreciate superior workmanship, call Superior Aluminum and Design at 817-8058 or visit us on the web at superiораluminumdesign.com.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
The truth is, most people who have had a fling at work say it started with somebody adding kisses, X's and O's, to a message. Just like showers for mothers-to-be, man showers include food, gifts, games, with a macho slant. Bullying is usually accompanied by poor performance at school. If the dip is only in one subject, the bully is probably in the same class with your child.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Excitement in the air.
It's sports talk that excites you.
It's incredible. I'm very excited about this.
It's time to excite. It's the talent that excites you.
We're excited about that.
It's the unlimited access to us that excites you.
I can't tell you how excited I am.
But it's you that excites us.
You sound excited.
Thank you for getting us excited.
I'm really excited about the future.
24/7. We are Fox Sports! Fox Sports 1. Fight. In a groundbreaking new season, 16 of the world's top 115-pound female fighters will form a new UFC women's strawweight division. A champion will be crowned. Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1.
College football today here on Fox Sports Radio. Steve Harvin, Chris Ricks with you. Get in on the conversation, 877-99 on Fox. Follow us on Twitter at Cannon Hartman, at Coach Ricks, coming to you live from the Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Notre Dame, Syracuse.
All right, beginning our previews on the day, number 8, Notre Dame at Syracuse. Joining us right now, the voice of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Jeff Jeffers. And Jeff, early on my Heisman radar, and I do have a Heisman vote, I definitely have Everett Golson there after his great start so far. Can he keep this thing going?
Well, I tell you what, Brian Kelly thinks he can. Everett's done a great job this year. Coming in after sitting out last year, they thought, well, just manage the offense, let the running backs carry the load, hit a couple of passes, but he's done so much more. I mean, he's been a dominant player.
Jeff, talking about the Notre Dame offense, coming off what Steve said, I mean, how efficient they've been, especially in the red zone. 14 for 14. They're taking care of the football. Everett Golson is looking like he didn't miss a step after coming back from being off last year, right where he picked up from his national championship season when they played Alabama. What do you see in this team that's making them special so far early in the season?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. Brian Kelly has retooled the offensive line for this week. He wasn't pleased the way they ran the ball against Purdue the last time out. I mean, Notre Dame had the game in hand, but they didn't really run the ball well. And I think a lot of that has to go to Purdue's defense, who played the run very well. But Notre Dame's offense has been very productive, and they're putting points up on the board, and they're allowing the young defense to get its feet wet, and it's been a total team effort so far. They've really played well for 3 games.
Jeff, looking at the schedule, a lot of people have put attention on it. You've got teams like Michigan, who Notre Dame's already beat. You've got Stanford coming up next week, Florida State, not to mention teams like Louisville and USC at the end of the season. Hopefully we'll talk to you more before some of these big games, but do want to see, out of these games, which sticks out to you when people say, hey, what's that game that could get the Irish? Which one sticks out to you the most?
Today. I mean, that's how Notre Dame's got to do it. They've got to take each play in its entirety.
Yeah.
Because if you start looking ahead, you're going to get beat. And Notre Dame's schedule is so tough. I think they're overscheduled, to be quite honest with you. No other team in the country has to play the kind of gauntlet Notre Dame does. A lot of people have circled the Florida State game in Tallahassee. That's going to be a huge game. You got to go to L.A. to face USC on Thanksgiving weekend. But for this team, and I think their focus is on tonight's game against Syracuse.
And Jeff, final question here, just talking about this investigation with the academic dishonesty. Has this been a distraction at all? How has Brian Kelly been able to keep that focus on what's going on the field with everything else that's been going on off the field?
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point, because Notre Dame could certainly use the players that are out because they're all good players. But they've picked up and just taken off here without the 5. They're going to have a resolution, everybody thinks, late next week. So maybe some of those players could go against Stanford, which would help them immensely. But they sort of just put it on the back burner. It's just like they've treated it like these guys are injured. You don't have them, next man in. And they've played that way. They haven't let it distract them at all. Brian Kelly says, I'm in the dark just like you guys when speaking to the media, and he hasn't got any really new information, so if you have no information, you just go with what you have and play on.
All right, well, Jeff, thanks so much for joining us there. The voice of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Jeff Jeffers. Follow him at JJeffers, WNDU. Now let's find out about their opponent. They are hosting the Fighting Irish. That's, of course, Syracuse. Joining us right now, he's the recruiting analyst for Scout.com and publisher of CuesNation.com, Mike McAllister. Mike, right now, Syracuse sitting at 2-1, but after that game at home, or the game against Maryland, you almost feel like you guys should be 3-0. Was that a game that really got away from you guys?
100% got away from Syracuse in that one. That was a game where Syracuse lost not because of what Maryland did, but because of what Syracuse did to themselves. They racked up almost 600 yards of offense, almost 400 yards on the ground, and really dictated to the Maryland on both sides of the ball, especially at the line of scrimmage. They really shut down Maryland in the second half and defensively played pretty well, other than giving up a few big plays, which really hurt them. And it was towards the end of the first half when Terrell Hunt threw a pick six to Will Likely that really turned the tide of that game and really changed it from a game you felt like Syracuse was in control of to a game that they could never get back into. So Syracuse fans and the Syracuse program all agree with you that Syracuse should be 3-0 going into this game, but they're not, and so they have to deal with reality.
Mike, what is the state of the Syracuse football program right now, in your opinion?
The state of the Syracuse football program right now is trying to get back into national relevancy, and that starts with playing well in games like they have tonight, getting back on the national stage, playing well, which helps recruiting and things like that. Right now, they're back. They're sort of back from the Greg Robinson era in that they're not an embarrassment. They can go into games like this and expect to play well. They can have a Maryland come into the Carrier Dome and expect to play well. They can, take some small victories from solid performances, but they're at the point right now where attaboys and moral victories are not what the program wants anymore. They need to win some of these games to beat a Notre Dame on a national stage like this, follow it up with a victory at home on Friday night against Louisville, and start to get the attention of the national media. That's what the Syracuse program is striving for, and they're sort of one or two really good performances and victories over teams like this away from getting there, but they're not quite there yet. That's sort of where the program is right now.
Absolutely. And Mike, you already mentioned it, talking about the future. I mean, I don't know if any team in the whole country has a stretch like the Orange have over the next 3 weeks. Starting today, Notre Dame, you got Louisville, and then number one Florida State comes into the Dome. What do you think Syracuse needs to do to come away with one, maybe a couple victories out of this tough 3-game stretch?
Well, the good news about having a tough 3-game stretch right here is that the rest of your schedule is not quite as tough.
Yeah.
So the rest of the schedule is filled with predominantly winnable games, save maybe the game at Clemson, but the rest of the games are winnable from a Syracuse perspective. So if Syracuse can come out of this 3-game stretch with one, and the most realistic games are either Louisville or Notre Dame, I think in that order, Florida State being the least realistic that Syracuse could pull an upset. If they can get out of there with one of those wins, they'll be 3-3 going into the last 6 games of the schedule, and I think that sets up well for what Syracuse can do as far as getting bowl eligible again, maybe knocking off one of these teams and taking a step forward from their 6-6 season last year. So that's really important. It starts with a good performance tonight to sort of build some momentum, even if you don't win. And then if you can do that, follow it up with a strong performance at home against Louisville on a Friday night, a game I think they can win, and I predicted before the season that they would win. And if that happens, then you're sitting pretty well where the game against Florida State doesn't become a must-win. And from a Syracuse perspective, you certainly don't want that to be a must-win because it puts your program in a very difficult position.
Yeah. Recruiting analyst for Scout.com and publisher at CuesNation.com, Mike McAllister, thank you so much. Follow him at McAllister Scout. By the way, that game's going to be at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, so it's technically a neutral site for this Notre Dame-Syracuse game. So interesting matchup here. For Notre Dame,
and they'll probably be more Notre Dame fans there than Syracuse.
Oh, I would imagine.
I wouldn't be
so.
surprised.
Yeah,
so many Notre Dame alums there in the New York, New Jersey area.
Well, I look at Notre Dame right now, and they're ranked 8th in the country. Your gut feeling: are they overrated right now from what you've seen? Are they a legitimate top 10 team?
I think they are a legitimate top 10 team. Just seeing the numbers, seeing how they've been playing early on in the season, they haven't had that game where they should have lost and they just eked it out, almost like Florida State had last week against Clemson. So I think they're right about where they should be right now, Steve.
We are brought to you by Carfax. A Carfax Vehicle History Report can help you score a great used car at the right price. Just say, "Show me the Carfax." Get yours today at Carfax.com. We get ready to preview Oregon State at USC. But first, here's what's trending.
On the college football scoreboard, take me to another place, take me to another land. Tennessee has a 10-0 lead at 12th-ranked Georgia 10 minutes into the ballgame in front of the watchful eyes of Peyton Manning, who's in the house today on the Denver Broncos bye week. 9th-ranked Michigan State up 14-0 over Wyoming 11 minutes into the contest. Spartan quarterback Connor Cook already a touchdown run and a touchdown pass. Northwestern now to a 7-0 lead at Penn State 10 minutes into the contest. South Florida has a 3-0 lead at number 19 Wisconsin with 3.5 minutes left to play. in the opening quarter. Golf at the Ryder Cup. Europe has just taken an 8.5 to 5.5 lead over Team USA right now in Scotland. Today's Major League Baseball action gets underway at the top of the hour. Red Sox hosting the Yankees. Derek Jeter back in the lineup as the DH batting second. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
We are Fox Sports! Tonight on Fox Sports 1, catch all your favorite drivers as the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series heads to Las Vegas. Tonight starting at 10 p.m. Eastern exclusively on your home for racing. Fox Sports 1.
You are listening to College Football Today right here on Fox Sports Radio. Hartman and Ricks with you. 5 hours with us. 5 more hours after 10 full hours.
Come on.
Of College Football Today here.
Let's go.
On Fox Sports Radio. Big surprise so far is that Tennessee game at Georgia. Vols up 10-0 early. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Michigan State, by the way, rolling in their game. 14-0 over Wyoming. They're at home. And that also 4 minutes to go in the first quarter there.
Steve, did you like Ilo's Arrested Development reference? I love that.
Oh, that's Ilo. Yes. Ilo's, by the way, very interested in this game that we're going to be talking about right now as his Trojans are hosting Oregon State. And joining us right now, owner and publisher of USCFootball.com. He's a Heisman voter, as am I. Now a part of Scout.com network. Ryan Abraham is joining us. And Ryan, we got to ask you, the week off after a stunning defeat at BC where they give up 452 yards rushing and only gain 20 on the ground, what has been the residual effect, if any, on this USC football team?
You know, I think they changed the way they practice a little bit, guys, this week. I think they did a really good job during the fall. It was very competitive. But, you know, during those first couple of weeks of the season when they got the service team out there, it almost seemed more of like a glorified walkthrough at times. So I think he tried to get back to more competitive practices. They used the bye week to get a lot of young guys some reps, did a lot more tackling. So trying to get a little bit more physical in practice getting ready for this Oregon State game.
Ryan, Chris Ricks on here with you. And as a player, I know how hard it is not only to wait a week, but to wait a couple weeks to get back on the field and get back in the winning column. When you look at the players, the coaches being around the program, what have you seen these past few weeks? I mean, are they just itching to get back in the Coliseum and get back in the win column?
Chris, yeah, certainly they were. I mean, it was tough going on the road, beating Stanford. It was such a big high for this team. And traveling cross country, you know, even NFL teams have a hard time going back east. But they laid an egg. Boston College, they all knew it. They knew it was a game they shouldn't lose, a one-dimensional offense like that. So they were really chomping at the bit to get back on the practice field. And I think going back home, too, some of these young freshmen that were playing, you know, they played 11 true freshmen in that opener against Fresno State. I think they really would like to get, you know, after 2 road games and a bye week, get back into the Coliseum, just kind of rejuvenate this team a little bit, you know, try to get this win against Oregon State, and then looking forward to that big one, the Pac-12 South matchup with Arizona State the next weekend.
Absolutely. And Ryan, I've really been impressed with what I've seen from Cody Kessler so far early this season. As we know, he's not the reason why they lost at Boston College, but he's going to get some help from that running game and obviously more protection up front. I mean, what have you seen the past few weeks in practice to really give Cody Kessler some support, especially in the blocking protection?
Yeah, you're right. He's completing 71% of his passes. You can't blame really the loss on him. He's been doing a really good job, spreading it around between different receivers. But he does have a young offensive line. In that first 7 guys, there's 3 true freshmen playing on the offensive line, including the 2 starting guards. So I think that's been an issue. Buck Allen had a great game against Stanford, 154 yards rushing, and couldn't really get it going against Boston College, but had over 100 yards receiving in that game. So I think they have to kind of mix it up all right. If a team is taking away one aspect, if they're taking away the pass or taking away the run, this is a team that's balanced enough that you should be able to do both. They didn't do that against Boston College. It was a little stubborn with the run game there. So they could have threw the ball a little bit more and tried to open things up. So I think they have to, take whatever the defense is giving them, but they have enough talent on the offensive side for rushing and for passing that they can do whatever they want. Just try to do it in an efficient way.
Owner and publisher of USCFootball.com. Follow him at Inside Troy. Ryan Abraham, thank you so much. Oregon State, by the way, has not won at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum since 1960. That was the first year that John McKay was the coach at USC. Can the undefeated Beavers go in and beat Troy today? Join us right now, staff writer at the Oregonian covering Oregon State football, Connor Letourneau. Well, Connor, this is another opportunity for Oregon State to do something they haven't done in a long time, and that's win on the road against USC. Should we look at this Oregon State team any differently than we have the last couple of years?
I think so, and the main reason I think you should is because of the defense. This is a defense that's extremely veteran laden. The entire starting lineup is made up of juniors and seniors, and right now they rank 6th nationally in total defense. Granted, they haven't played a lot of tough offenses, but I think that if they're going to pull out the upset, it's largely going to be due to their defense.
Connor, talk about the jump in competition. Have 3 wins in the first 3 weeks, but against Portland State, Hawaii, San Diego State. Now the Beavers come into the Coliseum playing a USC team that is reeling and really had 2 weeks to prepare for Oregon State. What are some of the most crucial things you think that the Beavers have to do to go into LA and come away with the victory?
I think the one big storyline facing this team right now is obviously the receiving core. Victor Bolden, their top receiver, is out with a dislocated pinky finger.
Yeah.
And that kind of had a trickle-down effect in the entire receiving core. They're going to be playing three freshmen in the receiving core tonight, and they're going to be burning a true freshman's red shirt. And basically all these guys are untested outside of junior Richard Mulvaney. So they're going to need them to really step up, because this is a team that can't win unless Sean Mannion's doing his thing. He's got one of the best arms in college football, and he's going to need receivers to kind of step up to the plate. Also, I think they need to get the ground game going a little bit, partly because of the state of the receiving core. And, I think they're going to try to take advantage of what seemed like a discombobulated front seven against Boston College. This is a run game that's much better than it was a year ago. They have 2 good options in Storm Woods and Teron Ward. So they're going to go to the ground early and see what they can do there. But no matter what, the young receivers really have to step up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point with Ward and Woods trying to open things up for the passing game in Mannion, and you already touched on him. And you also mentioned inexperience at some positions. Well, we look at the other side for USC. They're young in that secondary. Do you expect Sean Mannion to have some success throwing the ball through the air against a defense that has some vulnerabilities for the Trojans?
Yeah, I mean they're definitely gonna do their best. Like I said, the young receivers who are playing are a guy named Jordan Billman, who's going to be playing at split end, and Romelo Dockery at flanker, and Hunter Jarman at slot back. And all those guys have kind of struggled at times this year getting open. And even though USC secondary is young, I know they're extremely talented. So no matter what, it's going to be a tough test for them. But yeah, definitely they're going to attack that secondary and see what they can do.
Yeah. Staff writer for the Oregonian, covering Oregon State football, Connor Letourneau. Thanks so much, Connor. Follow him at Con Oregonian. By the way, we're here in our Geico Fox Sports Radio studios. Easy to save 15% or more on your car insurance at Geico. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. The only hard part, figuring out which way is easier. It feels like Sean Mannion's been at Oregon State for like 10 years.
Must have been how people felt about me at Florida State.
I mean, he has been there. And by the way, more than 11,000 career yards. And the only Pac-12 quarterbacks ever with more passing yards, and you know he's going to pass these guys by the end of the year, are Matt Barkley and Carson Palmer. How good is Sean Mannion? And what kind of damage can this guy with his experience do against that USC secondary?
Well, I don't think it's going to be decision-making that's going to hurt Sean Mannion. He knows the coverages. He knows the blitzes. He's a student of the game. I think he has a career at the next level. He projects well. It's going to be with those young receivers. Can they get open in double coverage? Can his offensive line give him the time? I like what I've seen from the USC defensive line so far this year, even from the opening week at Fresno State. They have been able to get in the backfield and put pressure on the quarterback. So, again, it's going to be, can he get some help from his support staff? Can Sean Mannion's offensive line give him the time, especially early on if the crowd is raucous there at the Coliseum and behind USC? Can his backs in Ward and Woods pick up the blitz, give him that extra second to get rid of the ball? Again, he's physically gifted. He's a sharp quarterback. It's can he get some help? If he can get some help, then maybe they've got a chance of going into Los Angeles and pull the upset. With the 2 weeks off for USC and just that revenge factor and the emotion that they should have after losing to Boston College, I don't see them coming home and being flat. I think USC will be ready to play.
That game will kick off tonight, 10:30 on the East Coast, 7:30 on the West Coast. There's no doubt Oregon State, at least their passing attack, even though you got a Sean Mannion, they're missing Brandon Cooks right now. I mean, They just have not really gotten that passing attack. I mean, he has 4 touchdown passes through the first 3 games. At this point last year, he had 12.
Right.
I mean, and so that's the one dynamic that is missing from a year ago with that Oregon State team. All right, we got previews coming up in our next hour. We got Stanford at Washington, and we got Missouri at South Carolina. When we return, we're going to be talking to Fox Sports host Rob Stone right here on College Football Today. Next.
He bubbled it at the 20. It's college football. To the 5, it's a scoop and score. It's all your college football action right here. We are Fox Sports.
More than 700 quick lane tire and auto centers across this country, and she chooses mine.
I need tires all season and at a great price.
She wanted it all, but even she was surprised once I crunched the numbers. Soon her Taurus was ready to roll.
Say, you're good, Mr.
Murphy, ma'am, at your service, even on weekends.
With great prices on 13 name brand tires and no appointment necessary, Quick Lane is ready to serve. Visit quicklane.com.
You're shopping used cars and want a great deal, but how do you avoid cars with hidden problems? Larry Gamache of Carfax tells you what to look for.
It's no secret that a Carfax report can alert you to major issues about used cars, like accidents or damage. Now you can use all that information while you shop to find the right car with the history that's right for you.
Nobody knows everything. Now you can start your search for your next used car and shop with more confidence at the new Carfax.com.
Look who just walked in the room. Joel Wiesner from What's Up Ocala. Hey, Joel, I'm looking for something to do this weekend. You got any ideas?
Absolutely. Check out our event calendar online at www.whatsupocala.com, and there is plenty of events there for you. Daily news updates to event reviews and magazine articles.
Really?
We've organized it all in one place online for you to cut through all of the hassle of finding something to do this weekend. We have a daily event calendar, a bi-monthly magazine, and we also do daily news articles.
All right, Joel, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, whatsupocala.com.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
I'm Major George Patterson from the Salvation Army. Please stop by our family store at 120 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala, where on Wednesday you have a 50% off clothing and bric-a-brac. On Friday, 25% off furniture and large appliances. And on Saturday, stop by to our yard sale from 8:45 to 11. Donations can be made by calling 352-732-4469 and we'll pick it up. Funds from the store go toward the services that we provide in Marion County.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
PM Pacific. We are Fox Sports. From the stories on the field.
Travis Kelce, it's your first National Football League touchdown.
The Eagles defeat the Washington Redskins. One of the most dramatic games in recent years.
To the stories off.
Adrian Peterson is a bad guy. I'm done with him.
Covering the stories that matter to you.
You have your jersey and you score touchdowns for us, so just do what you want. We'll forgive you. You should be embarrassed.
We've got it.
Oh, let's go.
We are Fox Sports. Sorry for all the football on Fox and Fox Sports 1 this season. Today on Fox, Stanford takes on Washington at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then at 8, Baylor travels to Iowa to take on ISU. All live on Fox.
Fox College Football today. Steve Harbin, Chris Ricks with you on this beautiful Saturday. So far, the big upset so far, Tennessee at Georgia. A little bit of a surprise early on in that game.
Telling you, Vol's trying to make some noise down there between the hedges, Mr. Hartman.
Well, they got an early 10-7 lead, 45 seconds to go in the first quarter there. All right, let's go on and join us right now. Fox Sports host Rob Stone. Talk about a lot of things going on in the world of college football. Rob, how you doing today?
Good, guys. Thanks for letting me join you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us as well. Well, Florida State is back in action today on the road against the Wolfpack of NC State. Well, what do you think's the aftermath of the one-game suspension of Jameis Winston, how that's going to affect him, the Florida State football program? I mean, we've been talking about if Florida State goes undefeated the rest of the way, are they penalized at all with Jameis Winston? I mean, how's this all going to play out, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting conversation. I don't think the team is going to be penalized. I think Jameis has already penalized himself, be it with Heisman voters, and I think with some NFL executives as well. I think there's going to be a lot of trepidation and a lot of hand-wringing if Jameis Winston is sitting there on the NFL board. You need a quarterback. And he's a very talented individual, but the off-the-field issues are certainly going to play a big part of that. What's really impressed me about Florida State, and I don't think anybody's really talked about it, is the amount of obstacles that they overcame last week. The amount of distractions that were continually thrown at these young student athletes really was amazing. Just the first half suspension alone, if it had just stopped and stayed at that, would have been pretty remarkable for them to deal with, because Jameis would have been trotting around the sidelines and, hey, here comes our savior in the second half. And then the change to the full game. And then he goes out for pregame warm-ups. Everything about that game and a Clemson team that's motivated was set up for them to fail. And Clemson, kind of failed themselves. But I give Florida State a ton of props for what they were able to overcome and handle last week. And now they go on the road to Raleigh, which is never an easy place. You've been there as well. The Wolfpack are unbeaten, and this is kind of the time of the year where we see a lot of unbeatens, but we don't know if they're legit unbeatens or they just happen to be happy schedule unbeatens, if that makes sense. I think Washington's one of those teams as well. But you look at the schedule for Florida State, I think we'd all be surprised if they're not going to run it and go unbeaten, and they're going to be one of the Final Four teams. I'm not sure they're one of the Final Four teams, if that makes sense. I don't think they've really wowed us. They've really impressed us. Of course, you could say the same about UCLA. UCLA finally impressed us Thursday night. But I think when it's all said and done, at a minimum, Florida State is going to be in the college football playoffs, and I don't think they're going to be penalized. I think it's only going to be Jameis.
And Rob, just piggybacking on that, do you think there's any chance that Jameis Winston misses any more time, and not connected if he does anything else in the future, but with the ongoing investigation, the Title IX from the university, now the story about possible extortion with the victim from the sexual assault case, do you think as just this mess continues that there's any chance the university or another party steps in and somehow he misses more time before the end of the season?
It certainly would not surprise me in the least, and I'm not trying to make light of it at all. Right. I'm also sensing maybe a little bit of a power struggle going on right now between the administration and Jimbo Fisher. I think ideally the head coach would like to keep everything in-house, and I've got it. I'll take care of my suspensions, and I'll handle my punishment in-house. But then when your administrator, when your interim president, your AD are saying, you know what, that's not enough. We need to step in. Then there becomes this immediate rift between the program and the administration, and that's another distraction, and that's more on Jimbo, but the players have to feel that as well. Another suspension, look, nothing is going to surprise me. Who knows what TMZ Sports has in their back pocket at any moment, right? I mean, they've got a Tallahassee bureau going on this season right now, and the things that happen, the things that college kids do, we've all done things. In this day and age, it's really hard to get away with anything. And I think the climate that we live in right now, particularly with what the NFL has created for us, it's certainly been a trickle-down effect to college football, without a doubt. I mean, you saw it in Tallahassee last week. If all the stuff that was going on in the NFL had not been taking place, I don't think you would have seen all this conversation about Jameis and this full game suspension to half game suspension and things like that.
Right.
It's just the climate we're in, and it's a trickle down effect, and it's affecting everybody.
Rob Stone joining us, Fox Sports. Follow him at Rob Stone on Fox. Rob, Michigan State, by the way, taking a 28-7 lead against Wyoming here early in the second quarter. Mark D'Antonio, the Michigan State coach, came out and said, wait a second, this ill-conceived 4-team playoff. I mean, everyone was so anxious to get rid of BCS, and now they're thinking about all the problems you could have. He's insisting that it says, whoa. The only teams that should be under consideration for a 4-team playoff are those that win their conference championship games. Of course, that's news to the Big 12 because they don't have one of those, and BYU could be undefeated, but how do you think this is all going to play? I mean, let's say you have an undefeated Alabama team, and they lose to a 2-loss Georgia South Carolina team in the SEC championship. You think they're going to take Georgia South Carolina with 2 losses over a 1-loss Alabama team?
No, not at all. I don't think you're going to see more than one SEC team in the Final Four. I think that's going to set a bad tone with year one of this and saying, well, look, there's that SEC bias. But you go back to Mark D'Antonio. Look, I think we all knew there was going to be some politicking involved. And I like the fact that the big man in the Big Ten right now, because that's what Michigan State is. They're the big team running around the Midwest. I like the fact that he's kind of putting his foot down and saying, look, guys, he's getting in people's heads already. I know we're only here in September, but you got to start making these points and making these issues and bringing it on up. And I think Michigan State is in great shape to get to the Final Four as a one-loss team. They have no room for error anymore. But look, their one loss is on the road at an Oregon team that a lot of people feel is number one in the land, and they ran with them for a good, almost 3/4 of that game as well. So I think Michigan State's a team, and Mark D'Antonio knows that they are a team as well that can get into that Final Four playoffs. And I think that's what's exciting. We see it in Major League Baseball playoffs coming up, and we've seen it the last couple of years. Get the wild card involved. You get more teams involved. You get more conversation going. I think it's a good thing for college football, but it's going to be a bad thing for teams 5, 6, 7, and we'll have to deal with that down the road, right?
All right, well, we will. Thanks so much, Rob. We appreciate the time. Rob Stone joining us right there, Fox Sports, at Rob Stone on Fox. Yeah. Can you imagine, let's say Georgia, 2-loss Georgia team, big upset, beats undefeated Alabama to win the SEC championship game, and then they announce the Final Four, and Alabama's there and Georgia's not. How's that going to play?
Well, if Georgia's got 2 losses, they ain't beating Alabama, in my opinion.
Well, but my point is, what if Gurley has one of those games, maybe even a Heisman clinching type performance, and, they win big against Alabama. They win like 31-17 or something along those lines, and then they announce the Final Four and they go with a 1-loss Alabama team over a 2-loss Georgia team that just shellacked them in the SEC championship?
No, I think that would be a travesty. I mean, even if they do have 2 losses, talking about Georgia, if they get to that SEC championship game and beat Alabama, then you take them. I mean, they are the conference champs. They may have 1 loss, but it's what have you done at the end of the season? You've beat an undefeated Alabama, and you're the conference champions. In my opinion, there's no question who advances on. There's no way Alabama, even though they only have 1 loss, should go over a team that just beat them for the conference championship.
And I think back on championship games like 2001 when Colorado stomped undefeated Nebraska. Remember that game?
Yes.
And then in 2003, you had Kansas State with Darren Sproles annihilating undefeated number 1 Oklahoma. So,
right.
I mean, if something like that happens in a conference championship game, how is that going to affect the committee when they sit down and try to decide at the end of the year which are the 4 best teams in the country that should move on to the championship? Now, coming up in our next hour, we've got a couple of big previews going on. A Pac-12 showdown, undefeated Washington hosting Stanford. Stanford certainly can't take a second loss if they want to keep their national championship hopes alive. And South Carolina back on track after the win against Georgia, hosting Missouri. We'll have the preview of all those games coming up as College Football Today continues. Hartman and Ricks next.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala Restore at 926 Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give us a call at 401-0075 and we'll come pick it up. For more information, visit ocalarestore.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County. Building homes, building hope, building community.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSales.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, loss proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
World to stand up on a table in the middle of the student union and scream a vulgar phrase. Yeah, that's a bigger problem than shooting the BB gun probably in and around campus. But when you string all of these things together in the last few months, in the aftermath of the rape allegations, he doesn't get it. What do you have to do to get kicked off the football team at Florida State? What do you have to do? T.J. Reeves. There's so many different facets to the story.
Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We are Buckforce!
As a college student, I'm making sure to get the H1N1 flu vaccine. You see, if you're my age, the threat of this year's flu season is very real because young adults are particularly vulnerable to serious complications from the H1N1 flu virus. That's why I'm urging people my age to get vaccinated. Vaccination is safe and is the most effective way to prevent the flu. Get the facts. Go to flu.gov. Together, we can all fight the flu.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Muslim leaders in Oklahoma City denouncing a workplace beheading at a food processing plant.
Nobody with the right mind would do such a crime in such a heinous way.
Imad Shasi, senior imam of the Islamic Society of Greater Oklahoma.
FBI says investigators are looking into the suspect's background, while the Oklahoma Police Department is waiting for 30-year-old Alton Nolan to wake up before they arrest and question him. Nolan had just gotten fired from his job before the rampage occurred, but witnesses also say he had been trying to convert several employees at the food processing plant to Islam.
Fox's Elizabeth Brand, authorities don't know if mental illness played a role in the attack. And Rebel Philippos, a friend of Boston Marathon bombing suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, going to trial next week for allegedly lying to authorities investigating the bombing. Two other friends of Tsarnaev already convicted of impeding the investigation. Fox News. We report, you decide.
What's the secret to great business trips? Choice Hotels, where you'll find everything a business traveler needs, like a generous rewards program. And right now, when you take 2 separate trips at Comfort Inn or any Choice Hotel, you can earn 1 night free. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Free night based on an 8,000-point Choice Privileges reward night at over 1,500 hotels. Valid 9/4/14 through 11/12/14. Requires registration and 2 separate qualifying stays. Other terms and conditions apply. Details at choicehotels.com.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
May I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home. It's called Power Swabs.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, and if you want to whiten your